What's today? Wednesday, September 25th, 2019. And I am Beatrice Kezo, Special Magistrate for the City of North Miami. The purpose of this hearing is to determine if a code violation exists at your property as observed and cited by a code enforcement officer of the city. If the city is not able to prove its case, then I will dismiss the case and you may leave. These proceedings are being recorded, therefore all persons who are speaking should do so one at a time to ensure that all testimony is clearly audible on the recording device. If English is not your primary language, then please inform me when I call your case. We have a translator. Do we have a translator? Our translators are not here this morning? I think they did. Okay, I'm assuming our translators are running late. Because if we have any Creole and Spanish speaking residents, we're going to need our translator. If somebody can look into it. All right. So I'm going to skip the line that says you have a translator present here today. Okay, when your case is called, the property owner, agent for the property owner, and any witness that you may have should come forward to the podium on the left side of the room. When asked, please speak directly into the microphone and say aloud your name, your business or mailing address, and your relationship to the property. If you are not the property owner or an attorney representing the property owner, then you must present a notarized power of attorney affidavit in order for your testimony to be taken on behalf of the property owner. For new cases, you will be asked for the record if you are aware of and understand the violation that is being heard today. And do you understand what is required to resolve the violation? Please answer accordingly. The city will present its case first, and then the property owner and or violator will be given an opportunity to testify on their own behalf, to bring forward witnesses to testify, to present evidence and photographs, and to cross-examine the city's witnesses. Following the case presentation, I will issue a finding of fact on the case. If I find that a violation of city codes exists or existed at your property, then depending on the case type, I will set an abatement date for the violation to be resolved. Or, for repeat violations, I will impose a daily fine amount. For new, non-repeat cases, my order will include an abatement date by which you must resolve the violation and a daily fine amount that I may impose at a future hearing date should the violation not be resolved by the abatement date. If I find sufficient cause to postpone enforcement action at this time, I will table this case proceeding to another hearing date in the future. If you do not agree with my finding of fact and or ruling, then the property owner may appeal the administrative order on the case to the circuit court. An appeal must be filed within 30 days of the date of the execution of the administrative order to be appealed. In accordance with Florida statutes, if a person decides to appeal any decision made by the special magistrate with respect to any matter considered at these proceedings, then the person will need a verbatim record of the proceeding. This record includes the testimony and evidence upon which the appeal is to be based. I think our translators have just walked in, so we do have a translator if you need one. Where was I? Let me just go back here. In accordance with Florida statutes, if a person decides to appeal any decision action made by the special magistrate with respect to any matter considered at these proceedings, then the person will need a verbatim record of the proceeding. This record includes the testimony and evidence upon which the appeal is to be based. The cost of obtaining the verbatim record shall be the sole responsibility of the appellant, and it is recommended that persons who plan to appeal their case should provide their own court reporter at these proceedings. Pursuant to city codes, if the city of North Miami prevails in prosecuting a case before the special magistrate, the city shall be entitled to recover all costs incurred in prosecuting the case. The current cost assessment amount is $100 per case. Once the city records an order that imposes a fine and authorizes a lien against the property, then the city will charge additional administrative fees to record and release the lien. If you're here, you're present, and will be given testimony on the case, please stand and raise your right hand so the officer could administer the oath.
Now, if you're giving testimony today on a case, please rise and raise your right hand as I issue the oath. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in these proceedings will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, say aloud, I do. Thank you. And I'm going to go ahead and do the translators. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the translations which you are about to give in these proceedings will be accurate and correct to the best of your knowledge, skill, and ability? Say I do. Thank you. Can you please
Henry
remain
Austin.
standing for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, please announce for the record if there are any additions, corrections, and/or deletions to the hearing agenda.
Case number SDNOV 2019-00068, postponed. Case number SDNOV 2019-00069, postponed. Case number CEGMP 2019-00064, complied. Case number CEEXP 2019-00108, complied. Case number MHVIO 2019-00274, complied. Case number MHVIO 2019-00201, complied. Case number CEODS 2019-00061, complied. Case number CEGMS 2019-00007, complied. Case number CEFAW 2019-00087, complied. Case number CEWWC 2019-00084, complied. Case number CEWRA 2019-00018, complied. Case number CENBR 2019-00053, complied. Case number CEFOB 2019-00015, postponed. Case number CEFAW 2019-00167, complied. Case number CEZCU 2019-00010, postponed. Case number CEODS 2019-00068, complied. Case number CEPOM 2019-00008, complied. Case number CESIP 2019-00044, complied. Case number CEEXP 2019-00155, postponed. Case number CEFAW 2019-00140, postponed. Case number CEBLR 2019-00021, postponed. Case number CEJNK 2019-00038, complied. Case number CEBPR 2019-00037, postponed. Case number CEZPU 2019-00057, postponed. Case number CEBPR 2019-00029, postponed. Case number CEBLR 2019-00032, postponed. And lastly, case number CESIP 2019-00049, postponed. That is all the amendments to the agenda.
All right, please call the first case.
First case is Jean Mervoir Jean, case number CTTRA 2019-00006. Officer Jose Perez.
Sir, please come forward. The podium, sir. Do you speak English or do you need an interpreter?
No, I speak English.
You speak English? Okay, please state your full name for the record.
My name is Mer Virgin.
All right.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Perez, can you please state your name for the record?
Mer Virgin.
No, Mr. Perez.
Jose Perez, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of North Miami.
And how long have you been a code enforcement officer for the city of North Miami?
For the City of North Miami, approximately a year and a quarter.
Now, did you come in contact with the property of Mr. Jean Mervoir Jean on July 2nd, 2019?
Yes,
And how did you come in contact with this property?
I was patrolling the area, and I came upon the debris of a tree removal.
Did you see anyone on the property?
At the time, no.
Okay. Did you see anyone ever on the property?
No.
Okay. Now, did you take photos on July 2nd, 2019?
Yes.
If we can place the photos on the screen. Mr. Perez, do you recognize these photographs?
Yes.
How do you recognize these photographs?
I took these photographs, and they're stamped with my name and the time.
Now, I want to divert your attention to the photograph that is currently on the screen. Is that the homeowner's address, 110 Northwest 122nd Street?
Yes.
And is that, where is this picture from?
That's from Google Earth.
And when was this from? Was it from March 2019?
Approximately.
Okay. At this time, the city would like to introduce the photographs into evidence.
Okay. So moved.
Mr. Perez, what is the difference between the photos from Google Maps on March 2019 and the photos that you took on July 2nd, 2019?
Well, as depicted, you could see that the tree was cut to about midway on the stump, and the debris was left on the swale area.
Now, would this fall under a type of a tree that was abused?
Yes.
And what is the term exactly that in the violation that you gave the homeowner?
So the violation was open for hat racking, which is when a tree is cut to a condition where the tree will die without being removed completely.
And is this what you witnessed on July 2nd when you viewed this property and the tree on the property?
Yes.
I have no further questions for this witness at this time.
Mr. Jean, is this your property?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any questions for this witness?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
The tree is not completely destroyed.
And
He has already started to grow back.
what happened?
Because one part was fell, the bottom one was too large. It's open, but crack in the middle. I have the guy cut it like a trimming, and then to avoid no fell on a electrical wire or fell in the house. That's what I do with the job like this, and then the officer maybe pass by the time they do their work, and then he saw the debris and outside before they remove it. That's why they give me the citation.
You said the tree was split down the middle?
Yeah, it's happened before. Break the gate outside, and the other part was still, and then about to do the same thing again. That's what I bring him down.
Okay. You didn't contact the city prior to cutting it down?
No, not in contact because I have the guys have supposed to be trimming the big part. That's all.
From your photograph, does the tree look rotten? Does it look
Which one are you referring to, Judge?
at the trunk of the tree? I think it's the first photograph.
This one?
This one. What's going on there with this tree?
Mr. Perez?
To me, it doesn't appear to be rotten. As you can see by some of the greenery that was still left, the tree had life.
Yeah, Judge, and just to, for the how the code defines the term of hatching, it means to uniformly remove the major part of the tree's crown, reducing it in height and leaving a number of large bare limbs characterized by a number of stubbed off branches, and that's clearly depicted in the photographs here and what was done to this tree.
I understand, but I'm talking about the trunk of it. I'm talking about the photograph that I'm looking at now.
I would say no, that it's not rotten, as depicted by the greenery that is left.
Okay, because it almost looked like a dead tree to me. All right.
No.
Okay. Does the city has any other witnesses?
Not at this time, Judge. No.
Sir, do you have any other evidence? Anything else you want to add?
No, because the tree have the waist, the tore on the bottom, that's a big hole. Can't hold the top. That's the only reason it's going to be like this.
What is this metal thing that's leaning
Because
against the tree?
they have a big hole. I have a dog. The dog always going there. I don't want him. That's what I put the tool to block him. Can't fit in there.
So there's a hole.
Yeah.
Where is it? Did you introduce the citation so that I know what the fine is?
I can, Judge, 1 second. To go back. Can we please display? Mr. Perez, do you recognize this? Is this a citation that you gave to the homeowner that day regarding the tree abuse on 7/2/19?
Yes, that is a citation I wrote on 7/2/19.
At this time, the city would like to introduce the citation into evidence.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm looking at the photograph from Google Earth.
Do you want me to go back, Judge?
Yes, please.
Okay. Let's go back.
I think it's number 5, right? Right here.
Yes, this is the tree.
This is the tree.
correct.
Okay. Sir,
Yes.
this is the tree that you cut down, correct?
Yeah, it's a big ficus tree.
Huh?
It's a ficus tree, the big one up front.
Okay. So this is how the tree was prior to you cutting it down? That's not it.
This is it right here.
This is it. That's it, right?
That's our science.
Okay. And do we have a date stamp for this photo?
Yes.
Yes, it's March of 2019.
March of 2019? This is a beautiful tree. Okay. Now I get it. All right. And you said, sir, it was leaning?
Yeah.
How so? Where it was leaning where?
and the middle of the right,
Huh?
and the middle,
What do you mean by that?
because in the middle of the is not the full tree start. You got a lot of branch to make it together, and then one side when it's too big, it's open. The other side already break done before.
Do you have any photographs of that? Because we cannot see that from the,
It been
the
happening
picture that we're
about
seeing here.
years. About
I'm
year-
sorry?
About years ago, about 5 or 6 years ago, when
Okay.
side was fell.
Well, I'm looking at a photograph that was, this photo is from March 2019. This is a beautiful tree, green leaves. I don't see anywhere that it's leaning. And this is the tree that you cut down. And I know you testified about, electrical wires. But
Yeah,
from this photograph, the electrical wires are, was long distance from this tree here. Can you open it? Because I can see the wires from
This
mine.
way, Judge?
Yeah. You see where the electrical wires are in this photo?
I know where they are, but when the tree, the leaves grow back, always grow up, is always touching. That's what I keep catching many times.
I can see you trimming. In fact, the second tree is closer to the wires than the one that you cut down.
It's all the same. That's all the same. That's the other tree on the back. The one I'm talking about is the one have a big, is a big size of the tree, and then most of the time when it's grow up like this, if you don't hurry up, cut them up, it might be open. That's what I leave the small spot in the middle. That's when it could grow up straight. It can be grow up wide.
Okay. I don't see it. I cannot envision how this tree here can grow and extend to the point where it would actually reach the electrical wires. And so based on the evidence presented by the city, I find in favor of the city, and I will affirm the ticket, the citation. And sir, they will, this documents will be sent to him as to how he can make payments, correct?
I mean, he has a $500 fine if that's what Your Honor is finding for. In addition, under the code, it states under chapter 29, 5-2309, A, that the city shall require abused trees to be replaced, so.
All right, sir, you have a fine, plus the tree must be replaced.
How I'm gonna replace the tree already grow, and then if the tree was fell to break its stuff at the house, what I should do?
Call the city.
I'm sorry?
He's asking what he should do, and that if he had a situation where a tree's about to fall, he should call the city and have someone go out. He can't just take it upon himself to abuse the trees like he did in this case.
And I don't see how that's even possible based on the distance
Correct.
from this tree to both the house itself and the electrical wires that you testified to. And so based on that, this is the reason why I affirm the ticket.
And then the hole's still there. I don't even finish removing it. If you
At this
still
point,
taking a
what the
piece.
city's saying is that you may have to remove the tree altogether and replace it.
Well,
Because, go
if
ahead.
I may, that's determined by the Community Planning and Development Department. At that point, the arborist that's contracted through the city would determine whether or not the tree would either suffice to grow back into its original conditions, or if it needs to be taken down completely. At that point, CP&D would make that decision.
Okay, so you need to go to the city and talk to them, and then they will tell you exactly what your next step is going to be. Can you please provide him with the information?
Yes.
All right. Okay, you may step down. Thank you. All right, sir. You can go with the officer, and he will provide you with all the information that you need.
The next case is Louis M. Duran, case number CTBPR 2019-001115. The city would like to call Aaron Barber as a witness.
Good morning. Please state your full name and relationship to the property.
Louis Duran, owner.
Okay. Sir?
I'm Rogelio Lorenzo. I'm here to assist him with the construction matters.
Okay. Thank you,
As a
sir.
witness.
Okay.
Ma'am, can you please state your name for the record?
Aaron Barber, City of North Miami Code Compliance.
And how long have you been working in code compliance?
I've been with the city 26 years next month.
Now, did you issue a ticket violation on August 21st, 2019?
Yes, I did.
Now, was it for the property owner of Louis Duran?
Yes, it was for the property located at 2029 Northeast 123 Street.
Okay. And Ms. Barber, if I can please have the ticket on the screen. Do you recognize this?
Yes, that's the citation that I wrote and issued.
At this time, the city would like to introduce the ticket into evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Barber, what did you give the property owner a violation for?
The ticket was written based on testimony from Officer Gary Beswick for a building without a permit, interior remodeling, as reported by Officer Gary Beswick.
And how did you become involved?
I received a call from Officer Beswick to respond to the property.
Okay. Can I please have the photos on the screen? Do you recognize these photographs?
I do, yes.
How do you recognize them?
These were the photos that I had taken the day that the ticket was issued and posted.
That was on August 21st, 2019.
Yes, I believe so.
Did you see anyone on the property that day?
No, I did not.
Did you speak to anyone?
No,
Okay.
only with Officer Beswick.
Now, can you explain to the court what is depicted here in this photograph?
The photo with the trailer, it appears to be construction debris, maybe some tile, and the other photos for the posting of the stop work order and the citation.
Now, you stated that you received information from Mr. Beswick. What information did you receive?
He said that as he approached the door, he did notice inside that there was quite a bit of work being work going on inside. I don't remember verbatim, but that there was clearly work going on inside that would have required a permit.
I have no further questions for this witness. Thank
All
you.
right. Mhm.
The city would like to call Gary Beswick.
No, just a second, please.
Oh.
Do you have any questions for this officer?
We'll reserve the questions till when he's finished.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let me inquire. Why is it that I'm not able to open my attachment? I was doing it prior, but now I can't because I needed to review the citation a little closely. I can't see it so far away. I wanted to be able to see it, but it's not.
Let me put it back in the screen.
Okay. And when you put it up on the screen, I can't really see it.
Go down.
Yeah.
Yes.
froze. Like,
What case you are?
oh, shoot. Right here. Okay. What happened? So I don't have to keep calling you.
When you are in this one, it's opening in the other one always, so for some reason it was switching you.
Okay.
So you see, you go to this, the documentation is there. I stay there, so you need to switch.
Okay. Okay. All right. One second. Okay.
Proceed, Judge?
Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah, I believe we were on, if they have any questions, they were going to reserve, so I may.
Correct, so Mr. Beswick can testify.
Mr. Beswick, can you please state your name for the record?
Here, Beswick,
And can you please state your title?
minimum housing officer.
And how did you come across the property on August 21st, 2019, excuse me?
Well, I was a couple hours done. I went there for a complaint. And while I was investigating the complaint, I heard noise coming from a location. So I walked back outside and I saw the trailer attached to a truck, and I followed the sound. And in front of where the trailer is parked, the door was open, and at least two persons was in there working. They was using a jackhammer. So basically, the door was open. I walk inside, observe work going on. When you walk through the door to the left, there was a bathroom. Construction of a bathroom was in process. That's when the gentleman
So
walked
you were,
up.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. So you witnessed work being done on the property
Yes.
as you walked up
Yes.
after hearing the
Correct.
sound. Now, the trailer that you speak of, is that the trailer that was depicted in the photographs earlier?
That's correct.
Judge, the city would like to introduce the photographs taken by Ms. Barber into evidence.
Okay.
Did you speak to anyone on the property?
Yes, I spoke to the gentleman right there.
Okay.
And he advised me to exit, and I exit the property.
Okay. What was your conversation with him as you approached?
I told him that asked him if he have any permit, which basically I already knew he didn't have a permit because I checked the system, and I informed him that he required a permit. And he's basically saying he's not doing anything. I tell him, well, I observe work going on.
Now, did you notice any type of permits that were posted outside of the property?
No,
At any point?
no.
Okay. Was the gentleman who you speak of who's here, was he one of the two people that you saw working on the property?
Yes,
And is the gentleman next to him another person who was working on the property or no?
not the first time I've seen that gentleman.
Okay. I have no further questions at this time.
Okay. Do you have any questions for either of the city witnesses?
Yes, please.
Mhm.
My first question is, are you aware that the city of North Miami adopted the Florida Building Code?
Yeah, the building official is here, so I can.
Here's a copy of the city records.
I'm sorry, can I take a look at what he's provided?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And have you read the building code by any chance?
Nothing does, but I know what our ordinance stated, that a permit is required
Okay.
before you can begin any kind of alteration.
Ma'am, you're the one that wrote the ticket.
I'm sorry, Judge, is he done with Mr. Beswick?
Not yet.
We do
allow,
one witness at a time.
allow him to ask the questions. And then I'll give you an opportunity to redirect.
Well, is he finished with Mr. Bestwick for procedural
yet, ma'am.
purposes?
Are you done with Mr. Beswick?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Well, there are some exceptions in the Florida Building Code that does not require a permit. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, but what you was doing
Okay,
required a
which-
permit.
My question is, which are those exceptions, do you know?
Well, you don't need a permit to paint inside of your house, or in this case, because it's a one-story building. If you was just laying some tile, you don't need a permit for that. But again, what I observed required a permit.
Okay. What you observed and what the ticket was written on, it says that replacing floor tile, which does not require a permit. Look at the citation, please.
Can you please put the citation back? It states interior remodeling without the required building permit as witnessed by Officer Gary Beswick.
Okay, we have a paper that he sent a warning or a notice talking about floor tiles. Floor tiles are not required, which is what the evidence, only evidence that you have there laying inside that trailer. That's one thing. The other issue,
Is there a question, Judge? I'm confused. Is this argument or is he asking a question?
I am
Give me 1 second. You
It's a
indicated, sir, that you received something from the city that talks about floor tiles, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, can we pull that up?
Okay.
Is that the, let's see, let me review the
It says
citation
it
notice.
is signed by him, by Mr.
Do you have a copy?
Yes.
All right.
Do I give it to her or?
You know, show it to her and then she'll pass it up. Trying to open stuff here. Whose phone is this? Please turn off your phones. It's distracting.
Okay, Your Honor. The violation that I wrote in September, not September, that's the reinspection, and the August 21st, 2019, basically state, please obtain all required permits for interior renovation, alteration of bathroom, tile flooring, removal, and etc. I observe in process and no permits in file. On August 20th, 2019 at 2:27 p.m. And
Okay.
I'll pass it on to you.
Yes, because I don't know where to find it here. Notice of violation. Please refer to-
That's under the citation notice, Judge. It's under the,
Which one?
it's under, it's citation notice as well
Okay.
in your screen. I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay.
That one's mine.
All right, and alter, for interior renovation
This was also
and alteration
provided.
of bathroom, tile floor removal, and et cetera, are observed in progress and no permits on file. Okay. All right, and this one is dated, is there a date? Oh, 8/21/2019. I don't see it here. It's not here? Okay. All right. And do we have photographs?
Yes,
No.
Judge,
Oh,
I've
the
already
ones that you
submitted them
showed.
into evidence
Okay,
previously.
I see it, I see it.
I'll pull it back up.
I got it. Okay. Sir, you may proceed. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
there's also work you can do inside your home that does not require a plumbing permit. There's a section in the code that specifies that. It says here, clearing stoppages and replacing leaks in pipes, valves, fixtures, and removal or installation of water closets.
Judge, I'm gonna object. Is this argument or are we still doing questioning?
This is part of the code.
He is,
That the
Is
city
there a
bound-
question?
This is part of the code that the city adopted that is bound for.
Correct,
the
and that's
particular-
fine for
Okay,
argument, but at
gives
this
it-
time, it's questioning its procedure.
All right, ask the questions of the
Is he,
officer.
my
and
question
then I will-
was, is he aware there are exceptions in the code regarding plumbing? That was my question, and I was trying to read, in case he didn't know, I was trying to read what the exceptions are. But if he knows, then,
So, Mr. Beswick, are you aware that there are exceptions to the code?
Yes, I do. And
And what are some
furthermore,
of the exceptions?
as I said earlier, to paint in the interior of your house, and if you tile and this property is one story on the first floor. If you're doing tiling on the first floor, you don't need a permit for that. And also, the gentleman, he came into our office, in the building office, that day, accused me that he wasn't doing anything, and I introduced him to the building official, and the building official asked him to let him go to the property to do an inspection, to let him know if he need a permit or not, and he refused.
All right. Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Beswick?
I do have another section of the code I'd like to cite.
Yes,
Judge, questions, this is not argument.
I'll allow it.
That's over the city's objection.
Go ahead, sir.
It has to do with enforcement. And one of the, I can give you the papers in case you don't know, or would you like for me to read it so he understands?
No, I would
Not, I don't want you reading the whole thing. I
No, I
wanted
just
you
want
to
read
get to where you
I
need
want to
to.
read the section that has to do with his actions.
Judge, is this going
That
into
day.
evidence? I'm going to object to this being read unless it's going to be introduced into
I can
evidence.
give you
And I'm gonna
papers
get, I'm gonna
evidence.
pull
This
a
is
copy of
evidence.
him. He wants to,
Then I'd like a moment to see it.
sure.
It's highlighted in yellow.
So you're trying to introduce, Florida Building Code, section what?
What it means is,
Florida Building Code, section,
I don't have that section here. I have the preceding section, which is 10517. I take it will be 10516, part of the building code.
okay.
So are we guessing which code he's entering into evidence now?
Florida building code, ma'am.
I will have an opportunity to review it. Did you review it?
I reviewed it, Judge, but he's not citing to anything specifically, and this is a sheet of paper that doesn't have the actual code. I don't know, all I see besides
I didn't know that.
something, excuse me, sir, that says 105 and it's highlighted in yellow, what actual chapter it is and where it's coming from.
I can get the Florida building code online if you like to see it in case, but your offices obviously should be aware of these sections because they're bound by it, and the Florida adopted the Florida building code. Everyone that works in enforcement should be aware of these sections. It's part
Correct,
of the
Judge,
code.
but I'm not introducing
Give
it
me-
into evidence.
Correct. Sir,
I
This is
understand that
also
you-
outside of the scope, as this case is under 5-32 for doing work without a permit, and he's referencing the building code. This is
It
not
is
even the
part of
section
the-
that the city violated him for.
Ma'am,
So it's outside of
the-
scope of this litigation.
The guidelines for the city to follow are the Florida building code as was adopted, and I gave you the paper originally. You're bound by
Judge,
the
what's the next
regulations
step?
of the code.
give me 1 second. I'm giving him some leeway here.
Okay.
Sir, do you have any other questions for
No, this
Mr.
is-
Beswick so that the
Okay,
city
this
can
is-
have an opportunity
Okay.
to?
This is at the heart of the issue, what
Okay.
happened that day. Inspecting any portion of the building structure.
I'll give you an opportunity to make a closing argument.
Okay.
At this point, I want you to ask questions
All right,
so
I
that
will
I can
just
give the
read brief.
city an opportunity to redirect, and I'll
Okay.
give you an opportunity to question
Okay,
Officer.
the essence of this paragraph, it says
Barbara?
here that the only way that
Is there a
Mr.
question?
Bresnik, I am going to do that if you let me, don't interrupt me.
Okay,
I'll be
guys,
brief.
seriously,
Very brief.
we're not
I'll
gonna
be-
be here all day.
Okay, I'll be very brief. He's supposed to have consent to enter a property, and this is what this paper is about. He was never allowed to enter. He did not gain prior permission to enter the property, and contrary to his statement, the owner here will testify that the door was closed. He opened the door, walked in the room, and that is not allowed under the code. So his, any,
So your question to Mr. Beswick is whether or not he had consent to enter your
did you
property?
have
Is that
consent
what
to
you're
enter the
saying?
property?
Okay, furthermore, the door was open.
No.
The door was open. Okay, let me finish. Let me finish.
Allow him, you ask him a question, allow him an opportunity to respond.
The door was open, and if you look at the picture, I have pictures show that when I walking up to the door was open. I went inside, and basically, if I hear work going on, if any kind of construction going on, and the door is open, once it's open, basically, normally I enter until a person tell me to leave. Because they're doing work, they're doing construction work. So once you're doing construction work, if the door is wide open, we have all right to see what's going on.
All right. Any other question for Mr. Beswick?
I don't think he answered the question.
He did.
Did he have permission to enter the property? Yes or no?
I did not need permission. The door was wide open. Work was going on.
Okay, so he's saying that he did not have permission.
I'm listening to the, you don't have to paraphrase his response.
I'm trying to understand that. I'm at a loss here. Was the answer yes or no? Did you have permission?
Again, the door was open, so I entered the property.
Okay, anything else?
He's testifying that the door was not open.
No, he hasn't testified yet. I will give you an opportunity to put on your case. Right now, you're cross-examining the citizen's witness
All right. I have no further questions.
for this gentleman.
Right, but I want to
Okay.
I want to reiterate that
I'll
He
give you
had
an
no
opportunity.
permission.
I'll give you an opportunity to do that. Does the city have any question for Mr. Beswick?
No, Judge, the city's going to put on Mr. Pizzillo.
I'm sorry?
No, not for Mr. Beswick, but the city is going to put on Mr. Stephen Pizzillo.
I don't know that if he's done with Ms. Barber.
Oh, okay.
Do you have any questions for Officer Barber?
no, because she wasn't part of the investigation. She just rolled the ticket. No
Okay.
question.
All right. So you want Mr. Beswick to step down?
Yes,
Okay.
for now, Judge.
Okay.
Good morning, sir. Can you please state your name for the record?
Stephen Pizzolo, building official for the city of North Miami,
And how long have you been the building official?
going on 5 years.
Now, do you recognize the gentleman, Mr. Duran, who's here in court today?
Yes.
Okay, and how do you recognize him?
He came into our counter to talk about the stop work orders that were issued and said that he wasn't doing any work. I said, well, and he wanted the violation abated immediately, and I told him, I said, if you want to, let's go to your house right now. If the work didn't require permits, I'll take care of the violation immediately.
And what was his response?
He said, no, you're not coming onto my property.
So you gave him an opportunity to either cure his violation or see if what he was saying was actually true?
Yes.
Okay, now, just to verify, this is regarding the property at 2029 Northeast 123rd Street?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have any further involvement with him?
No.
Now, did you have an opportunity to see the photos in this case?
Yes, I did.
And did you have an opportunity, that day you were, let me strike that. That day you were with Mr. Beswick?
No, I was not.
Okay. Did you ever hear from Mr. Beswick regarding this case?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And what did your conversation entail?
Mr. Beswick gave me the details of how he came upon it and what he did, including the fact that he walked up to the door, heard jackhammering. He said that the door was open, and then the owner told him to leave, and he left at that point in time.
Now, Mr. Pizzolo, you're obviously familiar with the building code, correct?
I am the authority having jurisdiction in the city.
Okay. Now, is there any exception regarding doing work without a permit, as in something that, for example, Mr. Beswick told you that he heard jackhammering from down the street and what he witnessed? Is there any exception that would fall under the building code regarding this incident?
Doing the work that was currently going on there, no, because
Correct.
even and there is a requirement for a certain tile to be permitted and inspected.
Okay. No further questions at this time.
Sir, do you have any questions for the building
Yes.
code official?
Is it customary for the building official to offer to go to a job site and offer his expertise or opinions? This is something you commonly do?
Yes.
Okay. But this is voluntary. The homeowner is not obligated to let you in this home.
No,
Is
they're
it?
not. They're not under that process, no.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anything further?
Nothing further from the city.
Okay, the city rests. Sir, you have no more questions for the city official,
I
correct?
just want to say the following.
Mhm.
I believe his rights were violated in the minute that the person entered his home without permission and clearly
Judge, are we,
stated
I'm
in
sorry,
the code.
are we doing closing?
No, I thought you wanted to put on your case. I thought you wanted this gentleman to testify. No?
No,
Okay, no more testimony?
no.
Okay. All right, you guys may step down. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. No, sir, you wanted to make your argument. I'll listen. Yes?
What I wanted to say was that his rights were violated the moment that the person entered his home without permission. It's clearly stated in the code, the Florida Building Code, that he must have prior permission, authorization to enter someone's home. Whether the door is open or not, it doesn't say that. What it does say, to enter somebody's property, you have to have permission. Your house, just because the door is open, does not authorize me to enter your home while you're there with your family. It's just common sense. In order to do that, he has to have a warrant, and that is also in the code. He did not have a warrant at the time. He entered the home illegally, and the city does not have any proof of actual work going on. What we have is the testimony of the original inspector that I don't know why he didn't write the ticket. Maybe he's not able to write a ticket. But I think what we have here is a misinterpretation of the code based on the fact that they're not aware there are exceptions to the code. But the main thing, the most important thing, is the people's rights should not be violated in the process of doing an investigation or pursuing a violation. And this is what he did, and it's completely wrong. For anyone to enter anyone's home, just because the door open, does not invite the police or anyone to enter a home. And that's what he did. Now, the door was closed, so the homeowner would testify to that.
Well, he hasn't
regarding-
testified, and you
okay.
told me that he's not testifying.
You can go ahead and say it.
Okay.
No, that's, the city's gonna object to our closing, Judge. He can't testify at this point.
All right. Are you done? You rested. Okay. The city wish to respond?
Yes, Judge. We're here under section 5-32, which is doing work without a permit. Under our code, under chapter 21.31A, it states that the officer just needs to have a reasonable cause to believe that there is a violation of what occurred. Now, you heard testimony from Mr. Bestwick, who got on the stand, and he said that he heard from down the street that there was work being done. He walked to the property, and he saw with his own eyes, not one but two, people working on the property. In addition, you heard testimony from Ms. Barber, who came on the scene. She took photographs, and Your Honor has photographs into evidence, which shows the trailer directly across the street as they testified from this property with work being done. And I'll pull it up 1 second. Which shows all types of debris. And I'm referring to this photograph here depicted on the left. Now, Your Honor heard testimony from the building official, Mr. Pizzillo, and he stated that there was no exception for doing work without a permit. There is no evidence that states here with the testimony that came out that Mr. Bestwick went inside of this property, went inside of this home, and violated anybody's rights. On the contrary, Mr. Bestwick got on the stand and he stated that he heard, he walked up, and he saw actually what happened that day. And he even pointed to the gentleman who's here in court today and said, this is one out of the two gentlemen who I saw on the property who was working, on the property. And that doesn't require him to go inside. One of the things under our code, under 21.33H, for ticket appeals, it's the greater weight of the evidence, Your Honor. And here the city presented three witnesses, Ms. Barber, who took the photographs and who witnessed the debris from the work that was being done on this property, Mr. Bestwick, who was the one who came across this property and has experience and knows the violations and when work is being done, and he saw that. And our building official who got on the stand and told Your Honor that, yes, you do need a permit for this. No, there is no exception under the code. And in addition, he even gave the homeowner the opportunity to go on his property and cure any situation that he had. Now, if the homeowner was so concerned with this case being abated and this case disappearing and going away, he simply would have said, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day and coming to see that we're actually not doing work on this property. You heard testimony from Mr. Beswick that said he looked around the property and there was no permits listed anywhere. He's in complete violation under 5-32 of conducting work on the property. And for those reasons, the city states that the greater weight of the evidence is presented and has been presented here today.
Sir?
Are you allowing
Yeah.
rebuttal from the defense?
Correct.
May I add something?
Yes.
He saw the tiles. There's no permit required for the removal of the tiles. And he didn't have permission to enter my property, just for the record.
Just a second. Yes,
And
Junior.
the door was closed.
Okay, sir, you need to speak into the mic because everything is being recorded.
Yeah. I'm just gonna add one more time that he entered the house, the door was closed, he entered without permission. There's no permit required for removing the floor tiles, and that's what was on the trailer.
All right, sir, thank you. On the trailer, I see tiles. Are these only tiles, or is there something else that I should be seeing in here?
It's only tiles.
Judge, I don't
Only
want to
tiles?
testify. Do you have a question specifically for one of the witnesses? And
Mr. Beswick? Your testimony, is it just tiles that I'm looking at, or are there more?
Well, I don't recall what was in the trailer, but based on what I observed inside of the homes, basically, it was the work that he was doing required permit. I don't recall. I didn't look in the trailer to see what was in there. I didn't do a specific inspection of the trailer to what type of debris actually was inside of the trailer.
Okay.
Basically, the trailer, I saw the trailer and I followed the sound. The door was open, basically, and I walked in and I observed the bathroom that was done to the left after you enter the main house, and whatever else they was doing that I could not observe.
And you do need a permit for that, Judge. There's no exception that states that to do work, that towel removal in the bathroom, that's an exception under our code.
Okay. Who testified that it was an exception? Did any of you testify?
Nobody. It's their contention.
Oh, I
it's an
see.
exception, but
I
I'm
see.
telling you that it's
Okay.
not.
All right. I thought I heard Mr. Brazil. Mr. Brazil, you did not testify that there is an exception, correct? Thank you, Mr. Beswick.
No, actually, if you're tiling a bathroom, it does require a permit, and under 44 CFR Code of Federal Regulations, any improvement in a flood zone requires a permit. This house is located in the flood zone, and tile is one of the floor coverings is one of the things that is inspected.
Okay. All right. Well, anything else?
Your Honor, that was tile from the living room, that's all.
Okay. Based on the information that based on the evidence that I presented by the city's witnesses, the building official, Mr. Beswick, and Ms. Barber, I do find that the violation exists. I find in favor of the city. Typically, I would say if the city official availed himself to you and say, the work that you're doing, if I see that it's not in violation of any code, then I will dismiss this matter. And you guys didn't give him an opportunity to do that. If you believe that the work that you were doing inside the house did not require a permit, and you had an opportunity to speak to the building official who is very familiar with the type of work, and he's telling you that I'll see what it is that you're doing. If it's not required, then I will dismiss this ticket. And you didn't take him up on it. But the testimony that I heard here today is that a permit was required. The door was ajar or open, which gave him the reasonable cause that he needed to be able to investigate and notice that the work that was being done inside the property required a permit. And so this is what my decision is based on.
Yeah, but the door was not ajar. The door was not open. The door was closed. He just went in and opened it himself. And there's no permit for the floor tiles. That's very unfair.
Sir,
And, when I went to the city to ask him about the permit, Mr. Fazzola was a very aggressive individual, and he didn't say it very nicely, I'm going to go with you to your house. Actually, I felt threatened by the way he addressed me, and I was not about to be alone with that gentleman in my house. So, I'm sorry. He wasn't a very polite and very nice individual. He pretty much said it in a very firm, strict way, and I actually felt threatened by his command. So the reason that I suck to come here is to explain my case. I didn't think that he was in a situation to give me any leeway.
All right.
So.
Okay.
Well, next case, Your Honor.
I might just say it's very important because the code does state, and I would like for them to read it, that
Judge, are
he
we
needs
still
to
hearing
have
argument? I'm
permission
going to
to
object at
enter
this point.
the-
Your Honor
the
has
home.
ruled.
I have ruled, and sometimes the residents just want to be able to vent and speak their minds, and that's not going to sway my decision one way or another. I have already ruled, but I'm giving him an opportunity to say what's in his heart. But my ruling is that I will affirm the ticket. Thank you, guys.
The next case is William Kelly and W. Marianne W., case number CTETR 2019-00007.
Did we skip number 3?
Oh.
Did we skip Nasser?
Yes, I did. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry,
sir. We'll call you. There's one case before you.
The next case is Nazir Hasanjak, case number CTBPR 2019-00098.
Is anyone here for, is it Nasser or Naser?
Not
N-A-S-E-R?
The property address
No one's
is
here for this case?
1070 Northwest 124th Street.
Who's our code officer on this one?
John Dorville.
Okay, Mr. Dorville is here. Okay. We'll
Next case.
proceed.
Okay. Sir, can you please state your name for the record?
John Dorville,
And can you please state your title?
code officer,
And how long have you been a code officer?
roughly 2 years.
Now, Mr. Dorville, did you issue a civil violation ticket to the property at 1070 Northwest 124th Street in North Miami, Florida on 7/13/19?
I did,
Do you recognize this?
yes.
How do you recognize this?
My handwriting, my signature,
Is this the violation ticket you issued?
yes.
The city would like to introduce this violation into evidence, Your Honor.
This is you, sir?
No, that's my wife. We bought the property, but the ticket was issued to the previous owner. And
Okay, so we're talking about property located. Let's give the address again so we'll make sure that we.
Sure, it's 1070 Northwest 124th Street.
right.
Okay. All right, and this is you're the new owner, correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right, sir. But I'm sorry, state your full name for the record.
Okay, Manuel Charles, CHARLES, but I'm along with my wife, Josahira Corman. Okay, I got a power of attorney here for her, from her, because she's out of town now.
That's fine. You're co-owner. You're
Right.
also the owner of the
Can I just
property.
take a look?
Okay. Yes, please.
Thank you.
And when did you bought this property?
In August
Of
this year.
2019?
Right.
Okay, so it's probably not reflected on the property appraisers yet. Okay.
1 second, Judge. Judge, can I just inquire who requested the appeal? Was it the new homeowner or the previous homeowner?
Sir,
What's that?
how did you know to come here? What's
Well, because we received the notice of appeal.
okay?
Yeah, it's not even in our name, but it's in the property name.
Okay.
Because inspector, he stopped by on a day that we were doing some job on the outside of the property. The plumber, we have a pipe clogged with and have a broken somewhere, because he see that there was some dirt inside and everything, and he tried to fix it, but he was gonna remove some roots from the big tree that we have there, blocking the pipe there, and I didn't even know he was bringing any heavy equipment or nothing. I wasn't even there, because we had some permits open on different jobs that we were doing at the property. I have them here. They were close to here. Among them, there was one for plumbing, but not that particular. It just happened that we found the pipe was clogged there, because that house was abandoned for some time there. So, and
So you purchased the property in August,
Right.
correct?
right,
Okay. The citation was issued in July.
not in July.
The
not
citation
July?
was for July 13, but I am noticing here on the appeal request, I pulled it up, if we can put it on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
The new property owner, and this is stamped, if Your Honor can see, July 17, is the one who requested the hearing. So literally 4 days after. So
Right.
I'm not sure how they took over the property in August, if the work was done and the ticket was issued on the 13th of July. And then this appeal request was from the new property owner in July.
Right, somewhere.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Where to proceed?
Yes. We left off that the city had entered the civil violation to get into evidence, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, Mr. Doorbell, how did you come across the property on July 13, 19?
I was the weekend officer who was assigned to the west side of the city, well, which be 7th Avenue going west to 17th Avenue. Obviously during routine inspections of the area. As the homeowner stated, there was large trailers in front of the property having equipment, digging equipment, as you can see represented in the photo. That caught my eye. I approached the workmen at the property. I asked them if they had a permit. They claimed they did not speak English. I said, well, I'll look in the system. I tried, in my best, in the little Spanish that I do understand and, try to speak. I told them that I was going to check in the system. If they had a permit, it would be okay. They would just have to post it. If not, I would have to cite the property.
Now, were these photographs taken by you?
Yes, they were.
And they are of the property on the date of the violation, correct?
That is correct.
At this time, the city would like to introduce the photographs into evidence.
Okay.
Mr. Dorville, I want to refer your attention to the second photograph here. Can you please depict what this picture shows here?
Obviously, it's a workman, and he's standing in a fairly large hole on the side of the property. I did check the system for, various permits. They didn't have a permit for that specific action that was taking place at the property, and thus I cited them. One, they had a very big hole, and obviously it's a life safety issue, digging holes on properties in particular. You're not
Correct.
sure if they're going to hit a gas main or what have you. So they did not have that on hand at the time, and therefore I cited the property.
And you didn't see any postings anywhere on the property regarding
There
the
were no
permit,
postings
correct?
whatsoever.
Okay. I have no further questions for this witness.
Okay. Sir, do you have any questions for the officer?
Yes, I have. As a matter of fact, I have some pictures also here where it shows what exactly the plumber was doing there and where the damage he found. It was on the hallway. There's no other way for him to find the broken pipe without digging. I have some pictures here.
So, we admitting that.
Basically, I think that do you understand the violation? Because I want you to be sure that you understand the violation.
Yeah, I understand the point. The thing is, he was just fixing the problem of the clogged pipe because he had a plumbing permit working inside the property as well.
Right, but you didn't have any permit for digging into the yard and working on the pipes.
No, he did it on his own. I wasn't even there. I wasn't even there when he was doing that.
But
so you just contract any contractor. You don't know what exactly he's doing there. When they called me that the inspector was there, I just rushed there to see what was going on, but he had already left.
Okay.
Yeah, but they were doing the job there.
Okay. So you're saying that you had, did you find any permits at all, Mr. Dorville? You said they had
I looked in the system, and they had some permits, as I recall. It's over a month ago, but nothing for digging outside the property and nothing for digging in the yard. And there was a fairly large hole. And once again, it's a question of, life safety. If they hit a gas lane, obviously if they had an emergency, the property didn't seem occupied at the time. And when I was speaking to a workman, it said it wasn't occupied, from what I understood. And it would be a simple matter to contact the city and look into getting an emergency permit or some sort of, addition to their current permit to have that ground dug up the way it was. And in particular, they had the street blocked off with large equipments and trailers. And, obviously that's what caught my attention initially. But obviously the violation speaks pertaining to digging. Obviously this gentleman, I'm not guessing his height, but he's minimum 5 feet tall, and he's halfway in a ditch in the ground. And, that's a life safety issue.
All right. Anything further?
No, Judge, not from the city.
All right. Based on the evidence presented by the code enforcement officer, I find that the violation did exist. I find in favor of the city. Sir, I do affirm the ticket. Okay? Thank you.
Next case is William Kelly and W. Marion W., case number CTETR 2019-000007. Officer Edme St. Louis.
Sir, please state your full name for the record and relationship to the property.
William Kelly. I'm the owner of the property at 1275 Northeast 136 Terrace.
Thank you.
Hi, can you please state your name for the record?
Edme St. Louis.
And what is your occupation, Ms. St. Louis?
Code enforcement officer.
Can you speak a little bit louder, please?
Code enforcement officer.
And how long have you been a code enforcement officer?
It's roughly about 7 months now.
And how long have you been working for the city of North Miami?
For 3 years now.
Did you come across a violation on 8/2/19?
Yes, I did.
Okay. If we can get the CVT on the screen, please. Do you recognize this citation?
Yes, I do.
How do you recognize it?
I wrote it.
Okay. Is this the civil violation ticket that you gave to the property at 1275 Northeast 136 Terrace?
Yes.
Now, how did you come across this property?
While doing my daily zone inspection, came across garbage being placed on a swell, and it was on a Friday, and bulk pickup is every Tuesday in the area.
At this time, the city would like to introduce a civil violation ticket into evidence.
Okay.
Now, Ms. St. Louis, do you recognize these photographs?
Yes, I do.
How do you recognize them?
I took them with timestamp and also my name's on there.
Were these taken on August 2nd, 2019?
Yes, they were.
And they're of the property in question, 1275 Northeast 136 Terrace?
Yes.
At this time, the city would like to introduce the photographs into evidence.
Okay.
Now, is this what you, does this photograph, the first one that we're seeing here, depict the bulk trash that was outside of the property that day?
Yes.
And did you see anyone place this trash there?
No.
And when is the bulk trash supposed to be outside of the apartment to the home?
No earlier than 24 hours prior to pickup.
And this was, you've already testified this was on a Friday, correct?
Correct.
So what day should it have been there at the earliest?
Earliest Monday.
And the latest for pickup on Tuesday, correct?
Yes. Early morning Tuesday before 7.
Okay. Did you speak to anyone on the property while you were there?
No, I didn't.
Did you see anyone swing by and drop off this furniture?
The garbage were already there.
I'm sorry?
The garbage were already there.
What do you mean by that?
While driving through the neighborhood, I noticed the garbage. It was already placed there before I got there.
The furniture here depicted, you're stating it was already there when you came across it, correct?
Correct.
I have no further questions at this time.
Sir, do you have any questions for the officer?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Did you see someone put the trash there?
No, I didn't.
Okay. The trash was not put there by myself because I live in Cooper City. It was not put there by any one of my tenants. My tenants have been there over 5 years. I have 4 tenants there. It's a 4-unit building. And my tenants have been there over 5 years, and there has not been anyone moved or moved out of the building within the last 5 years. All of the trash that's there came from buildings around there. And if the officer had an occasion to visit that area on a daily basis, she would see that people were putting trash around the building on a daily basis, and it's picked up on a Monday, as would be the regular scheduled hour. And as a result of it, I have no control, and my tenants have no control of what's put on that swell out there on the property.
Where is his building in relation to these photographs?
This is the building right here, Judge. If
It's
I'm
on
zooming
a corner,
in,
ma'am.
if we can please put the photos
Yes,
back
please.
on the screen. 1275. This is the building. And this is the bulk trash that's right in front of it.
What is this
It's
in
not
the
in
middle?
front, it's on the side, ma'am.
What? So this is a walkway in between the trash and the property?
Yes, that's a street. That's a
Oh, that's the
sidewalk.
street.
Sidewalk. There's a sidewalk there. It's
Oh, this is a
outside the
sidewalk?
Yes.
This is outside the sidewalk?
Yes.
Let me ask a question. Miss St. Louis, how many units are in this property?
4.
Did you ever receive a call from any tenant regarding any illegal dumping outside of this property?
No.
Okay, how are we going to tie this?
Can
I want to see the nexus. How do we tie this to this property here?
Judge, so, I mean, as I previously stated, Ms. St. Louis was, so are you asking for argument or? I just want to.
Okay, you can continue with your questioning because I'm waiting.
I'm done with Ms. St. Louis. I wanted to ask Mr. Kelly some questions, and then I'm happy to do argument.
So you want to prove your case through him?
No, Judge. I'm calling him as a witness since he's already testified, but I haven't closed my case yet. I am able to put him on the stand and ask him questions.
Okay, let's see.
May I proceed?
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Kelly, you stated that you don't live on the property, correct?
That's correct.
You live in Cooper City?
Yes, I do.
Were you at the property on August 2nd, 2019?
No,
You were never there that day?
not that day, no.
Okay. Did you ever receive, how many tenants do you have at the time?
4.
Okay, and I'll just be clear, on August 2nd, you had 4 tenants at this property?
Over 5 years.
Okay. Now, did any of them ever give you a call that day?
That particular day, no.
They never called you and said that there's bulk trash outside of your apartment complex?
Your Honor, if that were to happen, they would be calling me every day.
I'm sorry, is that, that's a no?
Bulk trash on that corner there where my building is located. They put it there the day before on a usually basis, and they just pile it there. They come by on Monday or Tuesday and pick it up.
Mr.
In
Kelly?
this particular situation here, I had no clue, I had no idea, and the tenants don't know who put that out there.
Okay.
And I have a deposition here from all of the tenants.
Mr. Kelly, can you just answer my question since I have you on the stand?
Sure.
I hear what you're saying. So you didn't get a call from any of your tenants regarding any trash being placed outside of the property?
That's true.
Right? And they've been there for 5 years? Right?
Yes, right.
So now, you weren't there the day before. Have you ever personally seen anyone drop bulk trash outside of this apartment complex?
I've seen trash there, but I have never seen anybody put it there. I've seen the trash there.
So you really can't testify, or there's no way of knowing from you personally, that because you weren't there, you didn't witness it, and you didn't hear from your tenants
On that day, no.
Correct.
That's right.
But sir, you are aware that there's usually illegal dumping in that corner there.
Not just that corner, but on the front and the side. And I know exactly what happened to this because one of my tenants told me what happened. The building next to there, the person recently purchased it. The people were moving out of it, and the people that were moving out of it moved the trash from the building next door and put it over there.
Okay.
And I wasn't aware of it until I saw the citation. The citation was not given to me directly. The citation was put on the wall there, and one of the tenants said, "You have a citation on the wall." The next day, I came out and looked at the citation. That's when I wrote my letter back to the city asking for this hearing.
Okay. Anything else?
No, Judge, I'm ready for argument if you are.
Sure.
Judge, you heard testimony from Ms. St. Louis, and I'll reiterate back to our code under 21.31A. She had a reasonable cause to believe that there was bulk trash placed outside of the date that it was not supposed to be there, as she stated that she saw it on a Friday. Obviously, the standard is a little bit different now, which is the greater weight of the evidence. The city has presented Ms. St. Louis, who walked up to the property personally. We don't have any evidence from the defense side stating that any of these tenants didn't drop or place the bulk items there earlier than they should have. And you've heard testimony from Mr. Kelly himself that he was not there because he doesn't live on the property. Therefore, I mean, it's established, and I can pass up, it's established in Florida. I can pass up some case law that, the code violations run with the land, even though Mr. William Kelly's not there personally, and he's not the one that's dumping the stuff outside. We're here for August 2nd, 2019. It's irrelevant and outside of the scope, whether there was bulk trash pickup down the street, across the street, next door, on previous occasions or not. What we're here for today is this particular trash, this particular furniture that was placed right in front of Mr. Kelly's home. I mean, I'm zooming in on
It's
the photo,
not in
but
front. If this is the photograph that you guys are presenting, it's not in front of his property.
Judge, I submit to your honor that you see this property, you heard testimony, it's 4 units. So To the right of it, we see the parking where people
And that's the
pull
front
up,
of the building.
and this is to the right of it. So if we're saying that, okay, it's up there. If we're saying that this area right here, this greenery, and this area to the side of the property is not a part of this property, then I don't know. This is definitely a part of it. If you're looking to the left of it,
Whose property is that back there?
This isn't Mr. Kelly's property. That's not 1275. We clearly see here that 1275 is the gray building.
Okay, let's
It's not
push
gray,
it back.
but anyway.
Okay, so we're saying this is the walkway, correct?
This is in a budding surrounding area of this property.
And this is the swale area, correct?
Yes, just like this
and that's
area.
the street.
Just
Huh?
like,
That's the street.
no, it's not
What's
the
the
street.
street?
This is the swale
Here's
area.
the street. Just in front of that pile there is the street that walks by there.
Okay,
I submit to you, Your Honor, that if you look at, and I'll zoom in so Your Honor can see what I'm referencing. This greenery right here, that's right in front of these trucks, belongs to this property. This greenery to the right of 1275 belongs to this property. This abutting area is the swale area for this property. It's not for the property next door. It's not for the property across the street or down the street. There's no evidence that has been presented from the other side at all that shows that this was not placed on there, that this violation was not there on August 2nd, 2019 from this property. But you do have testimony from Ms. St. Louis who did see it. It is on the property. It is on the swale area, and it does belong to the property. Now, these tenants have been there, you've heard, for 5 years. If they would have seen this and there's illegal dumping, as Mr. Kelly has stated, in the area, they would have given him a call. They should have a relationship with him. They would have given him a call. They could have given the city a call to say, hey, this is not my stuff.
so
But
you're
that's not
shifting
case
the
here.
burden.
I'm not shifting the burden. There actually was no evidence from the defense. The only party that provided any type of evidence was the city in this regard.
Okay,
So if Your
and-
Honor's going to say that this doesn't belong to the property, then this whole right side of the property you're saying it doesn't belong there.
That's right. Doesn't belong there. I don't own that swell out there. That's city property. That's not my property out there.
Ms. St. Louis, does this swell area belong to?
No.
The swell area is considered to be public parking,
Right.
but per city code, property owners are responsible to
Exactly.
maintain it.
Correct.
So if there's illegal dump or not, property owners are responsible for it. The city no longer wants to be responsible for any illegal dumps.
I don't find that the city met the burden, and I will dismiss the ticket.
Thank
Good
you.
luck to you, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Next case.
That concludes the ticket appeals. The next case is Gene Vincent. Case number CEIVY 2019-00092. Jose Perez is the code compliance officer.
Hold on, where do I find this now? The first one? The first one that I have is Anna Akon.
It's Gene Vincent.
Oh, we do
Did
that
you
now?
refresh it? Yes.
How do I refresh mine?
At the top right, there's the little refresher button.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can you show me?
Top right, refresh. You gotta exit out of that first. And go back. Refresh at the top right. Yes.
Yeah, that's what it brought us to.
So go down to new business. Gene R. Vincent.
Hers is on refreshing. She is in
Tunia, can you please refresh her iPad?
Okay. So everyone else's is refreshed, but mine?
Mine isn't either.
No, it's so it's not just me.
So this one will be number 6 on the old list.
It's not refreshing.
What case are you?
What's the name?
Gene Vincent. He has 2 cases.
What number is on the agenda?
6.
6.
Mine isn't refreshed either. So
Okay.
Yeah, mine's working.
Hold on, I think this is it. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Good
Give me
now?
1 second. Give me 1 second.
Okay. And tell me after Gene Vincent, who comes next, so that I see.
It's him again.
Yeah.
Uh-huh, and the third one is, okay.
This is those, one. That's the one, right?
yep, that's the one. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, sir, please state your full name and relationship to the property.
Yes, my name Jean R. Vincent, 135 Northwest, 123rd Street, North Miami, Florida, 33168.
Okay. And sir?
Junior Vincent.
Okay. All right, you may proceed.
City of North Miami Officer, Code Enforcement Officer Perez. Today we're hearing the case in reference to the property located at 135 Northwest 123rd Street. The first violation is in regards to inoperable vehicles that are being stored at the property. There are several vehicles that are being stored at the property, such as a Nissan SUV, a white Dodge pickup truck, and several others that are depicted in my evidence.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see by my photographs, dating back to May of 2019, we have several vehicles that are being stored at the property that are being just stored there, that are crashed. They're being worked on as well, but that's a separate violation from this. And the vehicles remain on the property to this day. I previously spoke with the property owner who advised he doesn't want the vehicles there, but his son just stores them at the property.
Okay. It's a lot of parts as well.
Correct.
What's going on? I'm assuming it's Junior.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I brought the Nissan for my little sister. That's one. She got the car ready and everything. That car is long gone. The rest of the cars is mine. That truck still work. As you can see, I moved it. I do DJ. I took a little break from it. I use my friend truck right now. At the end of the day, all them cars work. All them cars is whatever. They registered and everything. So I don't know what's the problem. So if at the end of the day, if I just want to say something. If I was a millionaire and I owned a house in North Miami and I wanted to store, not store, but I own 5 cars, would it be a problem to have it at my house?
I don't think that's the violation.
No, the violation is he's saying I'm storing cars there. That's the violation.
But if they're inoperable, if they're not registered, and
They're
I'm seeing
registered.
car
They're
parts,
registered. They're registered.
and I'm seeing car parts just sitting
The
there.
car
on
part
the
was for my
property.
sister car.
Per testimony from the father himself, when I, well, not testimony, sorry, when I went and spoke with the property owner itself, he advised that some of the vehicles were not operable. He advised that the Dodge pickup truck has a seized motor. So this came straight from the property owner. He's advising that they are inoperable itself. That the vehicles are being purchased at auction, as you could also see in some of the photographs.
Right.
They are still marked with the auction markings.
Put up the photographs again so the son can see what we're seeing. Let's start with the first one.
That car is gone.
This is the Altima that you
car is
bought for your
gone.
sister?
Yes, that car is gone.
Which one, this one or the other
Yeah,
one?
it's gone.
Okay, so it's gone now.
She's in Gainesville with it.
All right. Actually, you have more photos than I do, officer. So show it one by one. So all these vehicles in total, how many vehicles are there?
Well, here on the side of the property, we have 4 vehicles. Here we have another crashed Nissan that's being stored
That's
there.
my car. I'm waiting to get paid so I can fix it. That's my car.
And then since they are parked in a row, some of them can't be seen as easily on photograph.
Exactly. The car's not unorganized. Everything's neat. Nothing's messy. Like, the only car that was there was looking unorganized was my sister's car. That car's gone now. No trash there. There's nothing going on with the cars. So
Keep getting kicked out. I'm just having a hard time with this stupid thing here. Give me 1 second. Let me find the file. Okay, I'll just follow along. Okay.
What do you want to see, Judge, so he can pull it up?
I know, I wanted to see the citation. I can't find.
Well, this was just the notice violation.
Yeah. Does it? And it says, please remove any and all inoperable vehicles from your property to include the Nissan SUV and white Dodge pickup truck. Okay. And where's the white Dodge? Where are the vehicles now? The white Dodge?
it's the Dodge is in the back. They so-called said the motor seized, but I drove it to the back.
And this was verbatim from his father, who was the property owner, who advised that the motor has seized.
The motor is seized, but I drove it to the back. Once again.
Mr. Vincent, did you not tell me that the motor was not functional on the white Dodge pickup truck?
He's wanting. He's bought it for himself to do his own business. He's my son. I don't
Okay.
know. The car, it was warning. He's going to.
Did you not tell
he's
me
supposed to do what
on the day that I handed you the notice to appear, did you not tell me yourself that the motor was not running on that vehicle?
No, he's warning, but he's going to fix it. That's his truck. I told you, but he's not. I have only one car, and one was for my wife. We threw away my wife's car. We threw it away. But
all right, that's not what they asked you.
They
Apparently, yes. Okay, he said it. Yes, he said it.
I said.
But at the end of the day, is it seized if I drove it to the back?
Yeah,
So you basically hold on.
Just
the whole
because it's
purpose, hold on.
moved.
The whole purpose of this whole thing is I have junk cars in my yard. If I have junk cars, why do they drive? Why are they registered? And I can, if you want me to, you could schedule another court date, and I can bring every registration to every car in my yard. Simple.
So the violation itself is not for the vehicles not being registered. Again,
You
they
just
were inoperable.
can you pull up the
It says inoperable. I was the one who said, I
Okay.
believe I was the one who said that.
Per the
I'm sorry.
code, it doesn't require for the vehicle to be registered or not registered. It's just inoperable or in derelict conditions.
Mhm.
As depicted, some of
In
these
the
vehicles
photographs.
are inoperable and in derelict conditions. Some of them are even crashed. Some of these vehicles are ending up in the SWAT area, and there are multiple incidents where I'm having to red tag these vehicles that are being bought in auction in that specific area as well, which is part of the next violation, that are being left there. And there are several reports with the police department as well, because the vehicles are just being left there because they're being repaired. And then it becomes a nuisance to the surrounding properties.
question? Can I ask a question?
You can ask him a question. Yes.
Did you cite any car in my yard or in front of any city property in front of that property, please?
Yes, and that's part of the next case. We'll hear that with the next case.
That dealing with my house.
Yes,
Or across
again-
or next to my house.
If you ask him a question, you really have to allow him an opportunity to respond.
Again, yes, but that is part of the next case. The next case is in reference to the zone prohibited use, which was of the dealing with the purchases of vehicles from the auctions and such, and the repairs. Again, right now we're speaking on behalf of the inoperable vehicles on the property itself. If you want to abate the violation by keeping the vehicles there, then I'm going to have to request that you cover the vehicles with a weatherproof car-fitting car cover. That would be the way to abate this violation while you're keeping the vehicles on the property itself.
With car covers?
With car covers. Weatherproof, car-fitted covers. It can't just be a tarp.
Mm-hmm. Do you understand, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. Based on the evidence presented, I do find a violation that exists. I find in favor of the city enter an adjudication. Property owner has, this is not an appeal, right?
No.
Okay. Has until, I don't have dates today. Today is the 25th.
Yes.
Judge, it should be 30 days. All he has to do is put a tarp on it, a cover.
Say that one more time?
All he has to do is put a cover on it if he's gonna keep the vehicles on the property, so 30 days should suffice.
I know, but I'm trying to see what is the next date for you guys, when is the next hearing date? Because based on what you're giving me now, I don't see today's date, the 23rd.
Next hearing, if I'm not mistaken, is October 16th.
Do we have a hearing though? Because it's crossed.
It's crossed out.
We are having a hearing on October 16th?
It's crossed out.
Hmm? October 16th? All right, sir. You have until October 16th by which to resolve the violation. You heard the testimony of the code enforcement officer. If you're able to cover the vehicles.
Just the Maxima, correct?
I'm
That's
sorry?
the only the Maxima, because that's the only car that's crashed, apparently.
Any inoperable vehicles or any derelict-looking vehicles, such as the pickup truck that's being stored in the rear. So any vehicles that are not being used on a regular basis should be covered.
Okay. All right, because he is gonna come back around and trying to investigate to make sure that it's all done. If not, then I will issue. Huh? November 13th? Okay, that's what I thought, because I thought I saw this crossed out. Okay, you actually have until November 13th, but don't wait, because again, you know, if it's not a good look for the neighborhood, and it's, you know, your neighbors are complaining, and that's the reason why the officer is coming
They cannot
around.
be complaining about my house. I guarantee you. My house is not.
Not based on the photographs that I'm seeing.
That
You
was
have
one-
multiple vehicles
that day,
which
that
are
day,
not in.
That's exactly how the car got dropped off. Exactly. That same, exactly how you see it. That's exactly how it came off the tow truck. Exactly how it came off the tow truck. Did he come the next day and see that car?
Okay, so we can only talk about the day that he showed up and saw the
Exactly.
violation and issued the
Exactly.
citation.
I understand.
Okay?
And if we could go
So-
on to the next case, which will further explain the circumstances of the nuisance in the area.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
So now we're hearing the case in reference to zone prohibited use. I'm sorry, you have to announce it?
All right, we're here, same,
Judge, she can call it.
okay.
The next case will be Gene Vincent, CEZPU 2019-00033. The officer is Jose Perez.
City of North Miami Code Enforcement Officer Perez. Today we're hearing the case in reference to the property at 135 Northwest 123rd Street. This is in reference to zone prohibited use, specifically vehicle repairs, sales, and storage that it's running at the property itself, which is prohibited under residential zoning district. And I'm waiting on my photographs to load up so I can display them. So here we're going to see several vehicles that are being stored in front and adjacent to the property itself that are red tagged, and they have been abated at this point. Some of these photographs date back to May. So we have the vehicles that are being stored in front of the property itself. You have the vehicle that was there, that was being worked on. You have the car parts on the side. You have several vehicles that are essentially being bought from the auction and being repaired at this property to being sold. At this point, the city is requesting compliance in the aspect of them seizing any and all operations in regards to buying and repairing and selling the vehicles.
Off of the property.
Correct.
In the residential area.
Correct. So at this point, if we could get an adjudication in reference to that, that would be great, as well as obviously compliance from the property owner.
All right. Sir?
Those two cars wasn't my cars. Those are the neighbor, my dad, my mom, and other neighbors complained about that to the other neighbors already. And that's what got the cars moved, because we told them their car was going to get towed or something like that. And that's what made the guy come to move it. Because first of all, he was blocking the gate. We couldn't even come in and out that gate. That was the white gate, the house with the white gate. And beside that, everything else we already spoke about inside my yard. So those other two cars ain't have nothing to do with me. I don't park cars outside, so.
So your neighbors parked their cars in front of your gate,
One was in front of
your
because
entry?
what happened was his mom, well, the parents that was there was parked outside, so he basically tried to like squeeze all his cars there, thinking it was gonna be for one day, and he ended up moving it when we kept threatening him, saying, "Oh, your car gonna get towed or whatever," and that's what ended up happening.
And if I may, not once.
And that's why I said earlier, was it me or like when you talk about neighborhood being corrupted with mess, is it me or around my house? Because it clearly isn't me. What mess I have inside my yard is inside my yard. I clean it up. As you can see, you go there today, you go whenever. It's no mess.
Yeah, but if it's right outside your gate, it's hard for me to.
I understand that, but like I said, the neighbor squeezed it in there because they was complaining to them about it already. So.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Sometimes I'm outside. I'm not there. I'm coming to work. I have to wait. They come move the car in front of my gate. You know, they park anywhere they want. You know, so I will be a victim like that. You know. I'm working, and I live by 2 o'clock. I'm working at night, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not there. I don't know what's going on, but I'm focused about inside my yard, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But outside, I have one car. So and my son, the car inside. I'm not focused about nothing outside.
He even cited another car, which was the Altima. That was on the opposite side of the street for the same person. So, does that deal with us or that deals with that person?
Again, the vehicles are cited all along the street that were being left there. Regardless of ownership, the vehicles were cited. Now, as part of being a property owner, it is your responsibility to maintain the adjacent area in front of your property, that being the SWA area where the vehicles are parked, especially if it's blocking your gate. I would assume that if it's blocking my gate, I would call the city at least or report it saying, hey, that's not my vehicle. But in this case, no communication was had, no complaints were submitted. I proactively enforced this, and I was the one that cleared up all the vehicles from the street. And it so happened that the vehicles were right in front of this property. And at this property, there are vehicles that are sitting there that are in conditions that appear to be straight from the auction. So it leads me to believe that this property is also conducting that sort of activity.
As neighbors, you work with each other. He parked his car there. Apparently, it's supposed to be moved because you're blocking my gate. That's one. So for sure, you know you're supposed to move that car. At the end of the day, until it got to that point where we got that notification, hey, move that car, we end up telling him, hey, you don't want to move this car right then and there. Guess what? Your car about to get towed or whatever's going to happen. And that's what made him come down from where he stayed to move the car. Because I don't have the car key. So what you want me to do with that?
But excuse me, please. They should
Yes, sir.
They should file out who's the car belong to, because I'm not there, you know.
When you purchase a car from the auction, the vehicle is not registered until someone else buys the car. So it's some of these cases are very difficult to find out exactly who the owner of the vehicle is. So you can't run the VIN number, find out where it belongs, because some of these vehicles aren't registered yet. Some of these are from out of the state. Some of these are from different areas, and they're not registered.
I'm going to tell you, I'm going by the evidence that was presented in the testimony. Your testimony stated that at least one of the vehicles were dropped off by the auction truck to your house.
Regular tow truck from the actual person who I purchased the car from. And that was the car that's in the yard, which is my sister's car.
Okay, unless my memory is, and I unless my memory is faulty. Thank you. All right. Oh, nice. Unless my memory is faulty, I did hear something about the about auction, that you purchased a vehicle from auction. Am I wrong?
He said I purchased it from auction, which I did, but I purchased it through someone. And that person don't have they don't have nowhere to leave the car.
Whether or not you purchased it through a third party from the auction, you still purchased the vehicle from the auction. So
yes,
you take ownership of the vehicle from the auction.
I just said I purchased it from the auction, right or wrong?
I do, but at the same time, you want me to believe the other two auction vehicles are not yours, that are parked right outside your gate. I'm having a difficult time with that.
No.
I'm having a difficult time believing that, you know, the all these vehicles that I see based on the photographs that are presented, they all seem to be vehicles that were purchased, probably being fixed on the property for sale.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Officer Perez, driving around that neighborhood, how many people do you see do auction around there beside that one house?
There are several violations for multiple properties throughout the entire area.
Exactly.
But right now we're focusing on your specific property and the vehicles that were on your property.
All right, not around that neighborhood, down on that one block, that 123rd Street.
But I'm focusing on your house.
Yes.
I'm focusing on the many vehicles that I see in your yard. I'm focusing on the car parts. I'm focusing on the two vehicles that are directly in front of your gate. also without tag, which seems like these are two vehicles that were purchased at an auction. And so based on that, a reasonable person can believe that these vehicles all belong to one owner and one property. And this is my ruling. I do find that I do find in favor of the city. I do find that the violation did exist. And you wanted language that they need to cease.
Correct.
Whatever
operation is
operation
occurring.
that they have going on that property. So if you are purchasing vehicles from an auction or somebody who has a dealer's license, but they're bringing these vehicles onto your property and they're being stored there and they're being worked on there, where I'm telling you right now that has to stop. It has to cease.
As
And
well
this
as the
is the
repair.
ruling. The repairs and all of it. It has to stop. And so that's my ruling. And we have, you actually get a big bonus because our next hearing is not until November. But at the same time, the officer is going to keep coming around. And if he sees violations, then you're going to continue to be cited for any violations. Did I give a fine amount?
No.
On any of it?
No.
Okay, so if we're not, if this violation is not resolved by the abatement date, and I have to go back to both cases because I don't think I issued a fine amount. The abatement date of November 13th, there will be a fine on each case of $1,500. Is that clear, sir?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
Is
you, Your
that
Honor.
clear, sir? All right. Good luck to you guys.
Thank you.
That's each case. You understand, right?
Next case is Jennifer Lebitzner.
No, it's good. Thank you.
Case number CEL SC 2019-00006. The officer is Shanna Sanders.
Sir, please state your full name and sir,
Yes,
please
ma'am.
state your full name and relationship to the property.
Okay, I do not have the notarized statement for power to speak, but the person is my wife. I am her husband. My name is Arnold Landgren, and I have spoken here on her behalf before.
Let's say about that.
Are you allowed?
How do you feel about that? If that's her husband, I will allow him to speak. I mean, I'll
The
take.
property owner as well. Are you the property owner?
No, I am not on the deed.
Judge,
But I'll take his testimony. I'll
I am
weigh
the
it.
person that needs to do the work.
Okay.
So, and I am the one trying to do.
Whether she's here or not, I will still make a ruling. All I'm saying is I will listen to what he has to say. But
I'm going to object to him speaking on behalf of the property owner, Judge.
well, I don't know that he's necessarily need to speak on behalf of the property owner or just as a witness who lives there.
But he's not being used as a witness by the city. So who is he being used as a witness by if the property owner or nobody representing her is here?
I have allowed tenants. I've allowed.
And tenants can speak. People who have power of attorney can speak, but he's not on the deed and he doesn't have power of attorney. So I'm going to object to it. It's Your Honor's call.
The
But
city,
that's-
over the city's objection, I will allow you to speak.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate that.
But the next time, you probably need to get a power of attorney from your
Yes, ma'am,
wife
most
signed and
definitely.
notarized.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And I'm assuming that we will probably be here one more time. Like I said, this is not the first time I've been here. But I'll let Ms. Sanders go.
Okay.
Shanna Sanders, City of North Miami Code Compliance Officer. This is a new case that was originally started in April 12, 2019, for overgrown trees and landscaping that needs to be maintained. I spoke with the property owner on a couple of occasions, along with her husband, who stated that they were going to, have the trees trimmed. As of last week, Thursday and Friday, the trees still remain overgrown. He's stating that he's done some work, but it's still severely overgrown. I'll let her husband speak and explain why.
No,
the-
open the photos. Let me see the photos. I'm looking at them. They're sideways. Is it the way that you guys upload these? Because show me what it is that I'm looking at.
Okay. One moment.
And I may not be looking at the right thing either, so let's make sure. This is on item number 3, right?
Yeah,
that's
and they
what I was
are
looking
all
at.
sideways, as you can see. You're looking at more so the trees that are located in the front of the property. As you can see, it covers just about all of the house. He also has trees that's in the back of the property. Again, that's, let me pull those up. That shows the amount that he said he cut last week Friday. As you can see in the back, tree that's covering over the entire rear of the property. You can't see the rear structure of the house. But, you know, overgrown landscaping and trees that
Okay.
needs to be trimmed.
Okay. All right. So I am going to ask you over the city's objection. Do you understand the violation?
Yes, I do understand the violation. And I have been attempting to work on clearing that violation. I did not understand which trees specifically the city had an issue with. If you notice on the first set of pictures there with the gumbo limbo in the front, there were 2 trees next to that. One is a palm tree. One was a Florida holly or Brazilian pepper tree. I had trimmed those back several times because they were growing back over the house. Every time the palm tree grows up, it sends up new fronds next to the neighbor's house, which was one of the things that was written on the thing in April. I did not own a chainsaw to remove that palm tree, but I've been keeping that tree trimmed. When I got the notice of violation, I thought it was for other things going on with, because I get these that look like a form letter that, show up in the mail. But when I discussed with Ms. Saunders last week, when I actually got a new chainsaw and was able to start taking care of the tree and remove debris from the trees, she explained to me exactly which trees were the actual issue.
Okay.
And I am attempting to take care of those. However, at this point, with what I've done, and one of her last pictures was of the laurel oak in my front yard, which is still semi-close to the neighbor's house, I'm going to have to get a professional certified arborist to come in and trim up that tree.
Okay. And I think you were here earlier and you heard one of the cases where they trimmed the tree a little too much and destroyed it.
That's why I'm
So
getting
you
an
don't
arborist.
want, exactly.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm hoping to do that for the front one. The canopy that was over that was on the car, that's another issue. I'm attempting to rectify that as well.
Was that before us today? I mean, I noticed it, but I don't think you
It
addressed
hasn't.
that.
It hasn't.
I'm
It's
sorry.
been an issue in the past.
The canopy?
Yes, the canopy.
He has another violation open. You asking about the carport structure? Or
Right,
the
but I'm saying this is not being heard today because you didn't
No,
address it.
I believe he's talking about the tree that's in the rear near the canopy straw, but he has another violation for that, that's not being presented today. But the tree in the back also needs to be, trimmed.
If I can get a full list of the violations from her office, and time to come back at your next hearing, I will try my best to have all of it taken care of, so that hopefully we don't have to come back here.
All right, so after the hearing, you can meet with the officer in the back, and then she can tell you what else she has pending. But based on the evidence presented in the testimony, I find that the violation does exist. I find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication. You have until November 13th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $500.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, sir. All right, how many cases do we have left? Because I need to go to the restroom.
We have a lot left.
A lot?
And then we have
All
a
right.
1 p.m. too.
I know. Okay, can we take, Dunya, we're taking a 5-minute recess. 5 minutes, anyone who needs to use the restroom and so on. Okay. We'll reconvene in 5 minutes, guys. Okay, we're back on the record. Please call your next case.
Rose Baptiste, case number CEEXP 2019-00098. The officer is Edme St. Louis.
Ma'am, please state your full name in relationship to the property.
My name is Jean Baptiste. I'm the owner of 1420 Northeast 136th Street.
Thank
you. Good morning, Code Officer St. Louis. This violation is in regards to the painting of the exterior property.
I'm sorry, George, is she Rose?
I am.
Oh, okay. I heard a different name for some reason.
She said Jean Baptiste, and I
Oh.
think you also only says Baptiste.
That's right.
No, it says Jean. It's just J-N.
No. I think the clerk only called Baptiste.
Oh.
She said Rose Baptiste, and she said Rose Jean Baptiste.
Property was posted on September 5th to appear. I have pictures. This is the initial pictures. And as of the final recheck, I did see people were working on trying to bring the property together, but time is what's needed at the moment.
And why all my pictures are sideways?
That's how they scan them.
There you go.
Oh, cool. All right. Okay. So this is an interior painting, right?
Yes.
Okay. All of it, the entire house?
Mm-hmm.
Need paint? Ma'am, do you understand the violation? You know
Yes.
what you need to do, right?
Yes.
And you know prior to painting the property, she needs a permit
She needs to double check with
with the city officials.
no, not city
Building?
official for the color approval.
Okay. Do you understand?
So what do you mean? You mean so I have to come to the city for the color, or?
If she's keeping it the same color, she does not need a permit, but if she's changing the color, she needs to go to building to get a color approval. Permit. It's free.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So, well, you're kind of lucky because we're not having a hearing until November, but you cannot wait until the last minute and come here and say, you didn't have a chance to do it or you're going to do it the following week. So, I'm giving you the date of November 13th by which to get it resolved. And if it's not resolved by the abatement date, then you have to come back here on November 20th, at which point there will be a daily fine amount of $250, which means every time you go over not getting this resolved, you are accumulating a fine. Okay? So all I'm saying is get it done. And if you don't know what to do, speak to Miss Edme in the back so that she can tell you exactly the steps that you need to take. But paint the house. Make it beautiful.
Yeah, to paint the house, I have to fix it because the company I was get to get the windows, they messed up the front, all the house. So I have to fix it before I paint it. I cannot paint it like this. That's the
Okay.
reason why. And then the person who doing the job for me is still working on it. I just need more time to finish it.
Okay, she
I
has
was going to ask for 6 months.
for 6 months.
Yeah. Oh.
What type of work are you doing that requires 6
Because,
months
you
delay?
see,
That's
I
a whole
have-
new construction.
I have a lot of windows. All the windows messed up. I want the windows, they messed up all. I have to pay somebody to fix everything. And or the wall is cracked.
I see.
So I have to
So you're
spend
doing
money.
a lot of, she has
Yeah.
ongoing constructions going on there?
Windows.
The windows, yes. The
She just says that there are cracks in the wall.
the wall, yeah, the wall is is cracked. So I have to spend a lot of money to do this. It's not
On the side of
easy.
the property, you can see some cracks,
Mhm.
but the windows were recently installed, so it might have been, in the process of.
Okay, so I guess what you're asking me is you need longer than the November 13th that I have given you.
Yes, I'm gonna try my best to see if I can finish it before that. But since I don't want to keep going back and forth with this, that's why I asked for more time. But I will finish it before all that. 6 months.
All right. So I can change the date to December 11th.
Okay.
Okay? So you can come back here and give us a report so that we'll see where we are
Okay.
in the construction work that you're doing, because obviously we don't want you to paint if there are cracks that needs to be fixed. Okay? So keep working on it. Stay in contact with the officer and let her know where you are. If she has to take something off calendar, she will. But if not, we will see you back here on December 18th.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? All right, ma'am. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
The next case is Somay Farias. Case number CEODS 2019-00073. The officer is Shannon Sanders.
Ma'am, please state your full name in relationship to the property.
Good morning, Somay Farias. I'm the owner.
All right.
I got it, yeah. I think so. Shanna Sanders, City of North Miami Code Compliance Officer. This is, gotta quickly look over. This is a report of previous compliance for a case that was heard for outdoor storage. The property owner has piles of wood that's in the rear of the property that needs to be properly stored away in or removed. I have spoke to the property owner via telephone call a few months back about another violation, and while on the phone I brought up this one. I was to the understanding that it would be removed, but as of last week, Thursday, the wood still remains on the property. I have photos if you would like to see.
Yes, please.
As you see depicted in the photos, it's just piles of wood. I recall from our conversation, I'm not sure if she stated it was a deck or a dock or something that was removed, but long story short, it's wood in the back that's been there. I originally cited this property April 24th, but it's been at the property long before then. So I'll let the property owner explain what's going on with the wood, why is it still there, when is it going to be removed, and so forth and so on.
So all throughout the whole preparation for Hurricane Dorian, these woods were in the back of the
Yes,
property?
yes, we went by the properties, once we got under hurricane watch and posted properties. It's a vacant property. She doesn't reside there. She stated she has someone that goes by and checks on it, but it was cited and posted for these items being out there. And glad that you mentioned that, because now we're in the peak of hurricane season, so I would hate for this to remain out there. We have 3 storms brewing up out there. Hopefully it doesn't come this way, but now, especially in the peak of hurricane season, this definitely needs to be removed.
Ma'am?
So to start, I purchased the property and it's been a nightmare. It was a foreclosure. I spoke to Ms. Saunders and what she spoke to me about, which she was very nice, because since I don't reside on the property is non-livable. There's a hole in the middle of the roof. And it was about the side door that apparently somebody had complained about, which even though the property is a foreclosure, it's kept. I don't have somebody going by the property. What I explained to Ms. Saunders, sorry, I get really nervous, never been to this,
Okay.
is that I have somebody that goes and maintains the property, cutting the grass so that we don't get a violation. And I went and I painted the door that she asked for. She asked me about the wood that's in the back, which is secured with ties. You may not see that from the picture, but the wood was a deck from the previous owner on the foreclosure that the inspector asked us to remove the deck and said that we could pile the wood there as long as it was nicely placed and secured. The 2x4s or whatever it is nicely placed one on top of the other, and they're secured with tie things, with like tie beams. I do have a permit with the city awaiting to remodel the property during this whole time period, but I've never been asked to remove the wood. I was asked to paint a side door that somebody complained about, even though there's a permit to remodel the entire property because it's not livable. So I don't understand why I keep getting all these violations on a property that's pretty well maintained on its appearance on the outside while we...
I think I noticed from this photograph now that you mentioned it that it looks like it's tied down. Would that be sufficient or no?
No, it still needs to be removed. It is strapped down. It's in the rear of the property, so I can't closely see it. I tried to zoom in as good as possible, but it is strapped down with some type of material. But we don't allow outdoor storage to of such nature at all, unless it's patio furniture.
So you're keeping the wood so that you can rebuild the
deck.
The deck.
Because it was the previous owner had done it without permits, so the fees were accumulating even though it was when I purchased it. So we took it apart as per the inspector, so the fees would stop accumulating.
Is there a garage that you can put the woods in for the time being, since you guys are not?
I can hire somebody
Yeah,
just try not to spend more money than we have to, since we have to do the whole property. And there is a permit, so I guess I didn't know. I figured since we're remodeling the entire property, that because that permit is with the city, that I wouldn't keep getting all these violations for like minor things, like a side door that wasn't it's a white door, but apparently somebody didn't think it was pretty enough. Yes. And it's on the side of the property to the garage. It's not even a front door. So I'm like, I'm a single mom. I work full time and I have health issues. And I think I explained that to Ms. Saunders. So just all this aggravation, I just don't understand it, I guess. So if you guide me as to what I need to do to stop all these fees and all these, I thought I was doing the right thing by from the beginning getting a permit with the city while we go through the process of getting the remodel approved.
I don't know what else you have outstanding, but the only thing that's before me is the piles of wood. And
that's correct. Since she's brought to my attention that she's taking care of the situation with the door, again, a separate violation that's not on the docket for today. I'll go and do a reinspection. But today, for this hearing, this needs to be either stored away properly in or removed.
And I think she understands. If you have a garage, excuse me, just have it removed, because the city has the concern, rightfully so, especially now. So have it removed. Based on the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. Find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication. Property owner has until November 13th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $200.
Thank you.
Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Next.
The next case is, excuse me if I pronounce this wrong, Akongas LLC, case number CEFLR 2019-00009. Officer is Shannon Sanders.
Maybe if we give the property number, because I don't know how to say it either.
The property address is 12607 Biscayne Boulevard.
Is anyone present for that? Okay.
Shanna Sanders, City of North Miami, Co-Compliance Officer. This is a new case for a business tax receipt for the Smoothie King that has not been paid for in or renewed by the city. I spoke with the manager. Let's go back. I'm sorry. It was originally cited May 23rd of this year, whereas I've made contact with the manager who was under the impression that they had the business tax receipt. We've had several conversations. She has tried to make contact with the city and has made some payment. To give a little history on it from what was brought to my attention from her and from the city clerk's office, the business had not paid the business tax receipts since 2015. So when she went to make the payment for this violation, since I'm the officer in this area, I did the inspection. I initially cited her for 2018-19, but when she went to make this payment, it was discovered that she hadn't paid since 2015. So the monies that she paid for that went, of course, for the last year that was paid. At this time, the city has mailed her the up-to-date
Invoice, right?
totals and invoices of what all needs to be paid. I've attached the forms that was given to me by Raphael. I think his name is Padron, one of the coordinators, and that handles the business tax receipts. We've given them 2 weeks to come up to date, the speed and everything with the license. But again, as of last week, when I checked the system on Thursday, again, I looked on Saturday, the business license has not been renewed.
So, don't the city have their own fees that gets accumulated, penalty fees, etc.? Isn't that automatic? I'm trying to understand, what is it that you guys want me to rule on
we
this?
need them to pay for their business tax receipt, bring it up to, all payments need to be made from the 2000, well now, again, since it's been paid for 2015, now they need 16 up until now to be paid in full to the city. So we're asking for a guilty finding and asking them to, pay in full to the city their pending business tax license and fees.
And what's the alternative if they don't pay? Don't you guys have your own police powers to?
I'm not sure if they don't pay.
If they don't pay, and I hate that we're on record with saying this. I mean, I know in the past, they have, it would be up to the building official and I think to the city manager to close the buildings,
Right.
Businesses down, but I don't think the city is doing that at that time. I mean, and again, I am putting on record, I don't think so. But in the past, they have closed the businesses. Right now, I think again, from my letter that I've received from the city clerk's office, they are putting them in collections and asking me to cite the property owners and the business owners for payment or for non-renewal of their license.
Okay, I think this is my first time hearing this, about business tax receipts. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer, I find that the violation does exist. Tell me about notice. I don't know if you told me.
Okay, let's go back. I am showing that I hand-delivered, actually, the notice to appear to the to the business owner on, I'm showing here the 19th, wait, no, I'm sorry. I hand-delivered the notice on September 4th for this hearing. It was already previously, was supposed to come before the hearing on the 4th, but due to the storm, they canceled that meeting, so I canceled it out, but then we resent the notice, and I hand-delivered it on the 4th of September.
All right. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. I also find good notice, given proper notice, the owners have failed to appear, hereby find in favor of the city enter an adjudication. Property owners have until November 13th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $500.
CoinCo Invest, Co. Inc. Case number MHVIO 2019-00086. The officer is John Dorville.
Property address 13600 Northeast 6th Avenue?
Yes.
No one. Okay.
Good morning. This case is in reference to, I'm John Dorville, the City of North Miami Code Compliance Office. This is CoinCo Investment Co. Inc., MHVIO 2019-00086. It's in reference to their parking area. This violation actually has been open since February of This year, this property was posted on 9/5/19 at 9:38 a.m. And it's really just a simple matter of, I mean, they're actually aware of this. They're typically pretty, this particular management company is usually fairly attentive to issues at several properties. However, this one issue has not been addressed as of yet. I will show you the picture. Let me rotate it for you. And it's just a simple matter of their parking area obviously has some damage. They need to restripe and paint their parking blocks. I actually believe this case has been heard before, or it's been postponed several times, but it's actually been heard, and I think we're just looking for an adjudication.
Okay. And you said the notice to appear?
Was on 9/5/19 at 9:38 a.m.
Okay. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. Also find good notice, given proper notice, the property owners have failed to appear. Hereby find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication. Owners have until November 13th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, that will be a daily fine amount of $500. It was? Previously adjudicated? Let me pull it up. Which one is it? Which ones give me the history?
Permanent action report?
Hmm?
Permanent action?
Yep, got it. Oh, they did the same thing as I said, 500, right?
Yes.
Okay, so, okay, so I just need to ratify it. I'm sorry. It was previously adjudicated, so the daily fine amount of $500 is ratified.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Again, forgive me. Dutch Bank National TRS. The case number is CEPOM 2019-000006. The property address is 2350 Arch Creek Drive. The officer is Shanna Sanders.
Okay.
Shanna Sanders, City of North Miami Code Compliance Officer. This is a new case that was originally opened May 6th of this year. It was brought to my attention by complaint, an anonymous complaint. I went out there, I did an inspection on the property. The occupant at the property, the previous owner, let me do an inspection of the property. The pool was indeed very dirty, very dirty. As of last week, the pool remains in the same condition, if not even worse condition. I asked could I be allowed into the backyard to do an inspection or to take pictures. The property owner, if not the occupant at that time, denied me access to the back of the property. So I would, I would say I have the pictures from the September 4th hearing that we were supposed to take. So again, I want to state I don't have pictures from last week, but I'm almost positive with the rain and everything that we've been getting, it's probably in the same condition. I am showing that proper service was given. I posted the property, on September 16, 2019. I also made sure to mail a copy to Deutsche Bank so that they can make sure that they were aware of the property. As of, again, last week, when I tried to do the inspection, the occupant stated that the pool was in the same condition but didn't allow me access. I'll provide pictures for you to see what the pool looked like at my last inspection.
Yeah. Did you say the occupant? Are you saying that there's somebody currently living there?
Yes, from what was brought to my attention from the occupant and from Deutsche Bank, from a previous violation that was taking place, the property owner, she's going through some type of refinancing or foreclosure or
probably,
something. She's doing to some kind of something with, and she's trying to get it back or something or whatever.
Right.
I don't know the legal terms, I'll be honest enough to say, but I know she's going through something. She's been in the property, from what I'm understanding, 21 years, and they're trying to work something out. So, so I'll say the property owner and or tenant. Deutsche Bank has taken back over possession, but yes, she still resides there.
I'm assuming that's attracting probably a lot of mosquitoes in the neighborhood.
Yes, and that's what was first brought to my attention. The neighbors started, complaining, of course, anonymously, that mosquitoes and everything were there. They're starting to get more frogs and snakes and stuff of that nature. Of course, they have small kids. They would definitely like this cleaned. The occupant is, stating, it's Deutsche Bank's responsibility to maintain, so she's not willing to rectify any of the situations that are going on at the house at this time.
All right, based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer, did you talk about, or on the record, about the notice for today's hearing?
Yes, I mailed a copy to the to Deutsche Bank because, again, I want to make sure as well that they were aware of it, and I also posted the property on September 6th at 12:48 p.m.
Okay. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. Also find in favor of the city enter an adjudication. Owners have, I didn't look at the history, this is the first time up, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Owners have until November 13th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $500.
And I'm sorry, I just want to make sure there's no October hearing at all?
It's been crossed out.
Okay. I mean, only because of the condition of this, I was going to ask for a short abatement, but I guess if there's no hearing, there's no hearing. I just want to make sure that we give the shortest abatement possible.
I mean, I can still give an October, we're in the 25th, I can still give it until October 16th, but a hearing will not be had until November 20th.
We do have a hearing on October 16th. The mailings and the notices have already went out, so therefore it probably wouldn't be fair to the resident.
Okay.
Mhm.
Understood.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The next case is Evelyn Jean Baptiste, case number CEFAW 2019-00116. The officer is Jose Perez.
Nobody?
No one?
Okay. City of North Miami Code Enforcement Officer Perez, today we're hearing the case in reference to the property located at 215 Northwest 125 Street. This is in reference to a broken chain link fence in the rear of the property that has not been repaired. This was found guilty and previously adjudicated. The abatement date was set for August 28th, and they have failed their inspection on August 28th. I have photographs depicting the violation. These are from September 19th.
Mm-hmm.
The property was also posted on September 4th, 2019 at approximately 3:50 p.m. and it was sent out via the mail.
Okay. See the permit action. All right, and it was previously adjudicated.
Correct.
All right, based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation still exists. Also find in favor of also find good notice. Given proper notice, the owners have failed to appear. The daily fine amount of $150 is hereby ratified.
Thank you.
retroactive as to August 29th, correct? Yeah. August 28th. Next case.
Hector Martinez, case number CEBRD 2019-00001. Shanna Sanders is the officer.
Shanna Sanders, City of North Miami Code Compliance Officer. This is a new case that was originally opened on April 9, 2019 for boards that have that are on the window. I haven't made any contact with anyone from the property. I've mailed a couple of letters. I'm showing here that I mailed the first initial letter on the 9th of April when I initially cited it. I then sent another notice on the 16th of May. As of last week, Thursday, the violation still remains. I am showing I have given proper service. The property was posted on September 15, 2019, whereas it was posted on the door at 4:20 p.m. I have photos if you would like to see.
You can put it up on the screen. Okay.
And as you see here, they have a board on the front window and on the side window. I couldn't really get the side picture, but as you see here, is boards. It's painted the same color of the house, but it's been up there for nearly over a year. I'm not the code officer of this area, but upon request, I was asked to do an inspection at this property, so I did. And as of last year, when I first noted it, the boards was on there, and as of last week, Thursday, the boards still remain. I'm sorry, on the 19th, the boards still remain.
Okay. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation still exists. I also find good notice. Given proper notice, the owner has failed to appear. Hereby find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication. Owner has until November 13th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $150.
Next case is Marie Macias. Case number CEWWC 2019-00030. The officer is Karen Jean Lewis.
Ma'am, please state your full name in relationship to the property.
Yes, my name is Marie Mrs. My property is 1031 Northeast 141st Street.
Thank you.
Good morning, Co-Compliance Officer Karen Jean Lewis. This property was cited for a tarp that was on the roof. At the time, it was a blue tarp that was partially hanging off of the roof. I did make contact with Miss Marie. She is trying to get the roof repaired. She contacted the insurance, and it's still going back and forth at the present moment. The property was posted on September 5th, 2019 for today's hearing, but she would like more time. And the city has no objections to giving her more time.
Okay. All right, ma'am. The city has no objection to me giving you more time to trying to get this matter resolved with your insurance company. So let's give her until December, the next hearing. So we're resetting it, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You'll get a notice in the mail for the next hearing.
Thank you.
Good luck to you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
The next case is Marielle Absalon and Marie Absalon. Case number CEIVY 2019-00104. The officer is Jose Perez.
Good afternoon. Please state your full name in relationship to the property.
My name
name is Ronnie Absalom. It's my mom's property.
Does your mom need a translator?
Yes.
Okay, Creole? Creole?
Yes.
It's more for the mom. I think he's good for the mother. Have her.
Yeah, but on the cars they my cars.
I'm sorry?
The cars are my cars.
Okay, she's the owner, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll allow you both to speak, but I want to make sure that she understands what's going on too. No, you can stand up. I was just telling the translator no if he wants to get closer to her. Have her state her name on the record.
No.
Marielle Absalom.
Marielle Absalom.
Thank you.
Merci.
Go ahead.
City of North Miami Code Enforcement Officer Perez, today we're hearing the case in reference to the property located at 12250 Northwest 4th Avenue. The first violation is regards to it's inoperable and derelict vehicles on the property. Similar to previous cases that we've heard today, it's a matter of vehicles that are being bought at the auction and being stored at the property, and they're being worked on. So here we have several vehicles that are being stored at this one property, and I'll show the photographs now. And here we have some photographs recently taken. These are from September 19th, and they date back all the way to the date that the violation was primarily opened. We had some car parts on May 22nd that were being stored in front of the property, vehicles that are being stored throughout the entire property that are just being worked on in derelict conditions. And you can see these are from July 31st.
Some with no tags.
Some with no tags, but the tag is really irrelevant for the case matter because the code allows a vehicle to be on the property without a tag. It's just the fact that it's inoperable and or crashed. Most of these are crashed or being repaired from crashes. And they're not being moved. As you can see, there's some sort of tarp over this one. The one in the back has no front bumper, flat tires, no headlights in this picture. It's a progress of the vehicle being restored to an operable condition, which is again not allowed, and the storage of the vehicles itself aren't allowed on the city.
All right. Ma'am, do you understand the violation?
Madame comprend violation?
Oui.
Yes.
Okay. Does your son needs to make a statement? Sir, anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, but all the cars that was outside, they gone. All the cars you showed outside, all the cars gone already.
Okay.
As of my final reinspection on September 19th, the vehicles are still on the property. More so, he's speaking about the vehicles that were parked in front of the driveway, which were moved to the lateral side of the property, but that doesn't exempt it from still being an inoperable derelict vehicle that's being worked on the property itself, just because they moved it from the front driveway to the side of the property.
Those cars, nobody work on the cars. I don't work on the cars. I just park the cars there. Nobody worked on them. You pop the hood of a car to check the oil, you think you working on the cars. You check the fluid in the car, you think you doing mechanic. You open the door, you think you're doing mechanic work.
We have photographs of car parts, bumpers, headlights. The windshield was placed on this vehicle. I witnessed it. So work is being done at the property. But that, again, is a separate violation. Right now we're speaking in regards to just the vehicles on the property itself that are derelict condition, inoperable.
All right. Based on the testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. Also find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication. Owner has until November 13th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $250.
What does he want? What does he want me to do?
So you need to either remove the vehicles from the property itself or have them covered with a weatherproof car cover. That being a tight cover that sits on the vehicle itself. It can't just be a tarp or a piece of
sheet.
A sheet, exactly.
Okay.
That's for this violation in particular, and then we have the next violation that's coming up.
He has another case?
Yes.
Okay.
The next case is Marielle Absalon and Marie Absalon. Case number CEZPU 2019-00040. The officer is Jose Perez.
City of North Miami Code Enforcement Officer Perez, did we hear in the case in reference to the property located at 12250 Northwest 4th Avenue in reference to zone prohibited usage. At this property, there was work being done at the property on vehicles, so the city is requesting that all vehicle repairs, body work, motor work, and any sales cease at the property that is zoned as a residential area.
Okay.
Well, those were parts for my dad to take to the scrap yard. That wasn't not for me. This for scrapping. He works for City of Fort Lauderdale, so sometimes he need extra gas money, so sometimes he pick up scraps.
Okay. Well, the violation is that should cease. It needs to stop. So based on the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. Also find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication. Owners have until November 13th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $300.
And if we may, for the record, display this next photograph
I saw that.
that depicts that these are bumpers coming off of the vehicles that are at the property, not parts that are being brought to the property to being sold. This was actually left out there for the bulk pickup, which did not get picked up because the city or the Waste Pro contract does not pick up parts like that. Nonetheless, that was another violation. But in regards to his testimony where his father's bringing car parts to sell for scrap metal, that's not the case here where we have car parts from bumpers and such coming off from the vehicles there.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to have that on the record in case there's any appeals.
Fair enough.
Ma'am,
Yes, sir.
Those were dropped off there. I didn't, nobody put them there. They were dropped off there. Nobody put them there.
Okay. All right.
And I told him that too that day he came. I told him no, I didn't put them there. Somebody dropped them.
Okay. All right. Thank you. The first one was $250. The second is $3.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Next case is Mimi Aris. Case number CEBPR 2019-00026. The officer is Jose Perez.
Anyone for the property at 12040 Northwest First Court? Anybody? No. City of North Miami Code Enforcement Officer Perez, today you're hearing the case in reference to the property at 12040 Northwest First Court. This is in reference to work that was done without permits. This was previously adjudicated and found guilty with an abatement date of August 28th and a $100 fine assessment. As of my final reinspection, no permits were pulled for the property. So we would like to have those ratified. And in regards to the posting, the property was posted on September 4th, 2019 at approximately 3:45 p.m. And it was also sent out through the mail.
Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does still exist. I also find good notice. Given proper notice, the owner has failed to appear. Hereby find in favor of the city. The daily fine amount of $200 is hereby ratified retroactive to was it August?
20th.
August 28th.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Next case is Raul Herrera, case number CEBPR 2019-00023. The officer is Shannon Sanders.
Sir, please state your full name and relationship to the property.
Raúl Herrera, owner.
Okay, sir, do you need a translator?
No.
You good? Okay.
Shanna Sanders, City of North Miami Code Compliance Officer. This is a new case for building without permits. It was originally cited May 20th of 2019, which several letters were sent out. I have not made any contact. This is my first time seeing the property owner. So I'll let the property owner explain what's going on with the fence and why there's no permit obtained for it.
All right, pull up the photograph so that we know what we're talking about.
As you see here, it's a chain link fence that's surrounding the property. It runs along almost the entire perimeter of the property. At one time, there was, I would think it was safe to say, maybe a 3 or 4 foot fence that was around the surrounding properties. But now, along the side of 16th Avenue, I would say the east side of the property now, there is a, I'm not good with heights, I'm gonna say maybe 6 feet fence, chain link that's been installed without, of course, securing a permit first with the city.
Sir?
Yeah, when they was fixing 16th Avenue, the street, the contractor that the city hired, they told me they need to go in the house to move the machinery in. So they moved the fence. Then they go like 2 or 3 months. I don't know how much they last. How are I supposed to know they have to pull the permit? They were the one that knocked it down.
Okay.
And they put it back, and they told me.
I'm having a hard time understanding you, and we have to make sure that we make a clear record of what you're saying. You said that there were city workers working on the property and they needed access to your house.
Yeah,
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but we do have a translator who can assist us. Can we have the Spanish interpreter, please?
¿Y cuál es la historia?
La historia es que yo estaba arreglando la 16 Avenida.
They were working on 16th Avenue.
Expandiendo la avenida.
They were expanding the avenue.
Okay.
Entonces me dijeron a mí que necesitaban entrar dentro de la propiedad, que era una ordenanza que yo no podía negarme.
I was told that they needed to enter into my property because it was an ordinance and I could not deny them.
Entonces dice que necesitaban botar la cerca y que después le iban a reemplazar.
And they said that they needed to remove the fence and then they will install it again. And I said, if that is necessary, if the city is requesting it, then I have to allow them.
Okay, so in other words, the fence was installed by the city,
Entonces, esa cerca fue instalada por la ciudad, maybe by the contractor, I don't know who did it.
Okay, so it wasn't done by you?
Usted no lo hizo. Not the fence, no.
Okay.
Okay, I know at one time they were doing work along 16th Avenue. It was a private company that the city hired. I'm not familiar with the name. But they did hire a company. This is the first that I'm hearing that they removed it. I'm not sure, how we would like to follow up on this. But, the fence that they replaced is of course too high. The city wouldn't allow this. And from what I know of the code, we're not allowing chain link fence to be, replaced at this time anyway. So if they replace the fence, they would have had to bring it up to code and replace it with what the city is allowing.
Okay, but I think his testimony is that he didn't do it. The people that you guys hired did it.
Again, I would like to, if we can possibly table this case, I'll, bring it to the attention of our code manager, who can possibly then make whatever connections with other departments that she needs to follow up and see, if that is indeed what transpired. I'm more than willing to do that. If we would like, we can possibly table this and
Okay.
we could do a little homework on it if need be.
All right. Okay, we'll table it. Thank you, sir.
Bueno, entonces será programada por HFEC para otra fecha y gracias. Esa es la cosa.
Okay?
Thank-
All right, sir. Hmm? How long are we tabling this for?
We could give it 1 month. If it needs more time, I'll bring it back and ask, but let's do the 1 month.
Okay.
Next case is Reed 455 LC. Case number is CEIVY 2019-00125. The officer is Jose Perez.
Okay. I have 2 cases left on the 9 o'clock calendar, and I see 4 sets of people here. I'm wondering if we called a case and you guys didn't hear. All right, go ahead.
City of North Miami Code Enforcement Officer Perez. Today we're hearing the case in reference to the property at 455 Northeast 136th Street. This is in regards to a derelict vehicle. This came in as a complaint from Code Compliance Manager Cordo in regards to a brown Ford F-150 pickup truck that is being stored at the property that looked derelict. When I arrived to the property, the vehicle had flat tires, spider webs everywhere, dust that looked like it hadn't been moved in quite some time. I went ahead and I opened up the violation. The property was posted for the hearing on November 4th, 2019 at approximately 4:10 p.m. And here are some photographs depicting the derelict vehicle.
What's the derelict part?
As you can see, that it has flat
Flat
tires.
tires. Mhm.
It has spider webs everywhere, dust everywhere. The vehicle hasn't been moved in quite some time.
Okay.
Here's a better photograph of the side where you can see the flat tire.
Mhm.
And again, this came in as a complaint from Code Compliance Manager Cordo.
Okay. Is the front glass broken, or is it the spider web that you're talking about?
Spider webs and a lot of dirt. So
Okay. All right. Looks like it belongs to a company or some sort. All right. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. Also find good notice. Given proper notice, the owners have failed to appear, hereby find in favor of the city enter an adjudication. Owner has until November 13th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $150.
thank you.
150.
Next case is RT Management and Investment LLC. Case number CEGMP 2019-00085. The officer is Wayne Clark.
Okay. I got you. I'm just making sure my Wayne Clark, City of North Miami Code Compliance. This property was cited on May.
Give me 1 second. So none of the folks who were here is part of this case? Okay, go ahead, Mr. Clark.
This property was cited on May 13th for general maintenance of the property. The driveway, steps, and the porch area was in need of pressure cleaning and painting. As it was painted before, and it faded and peeled, and it was asked them to repaint it. Also, they were asked to pressure wash the window awnings. And the property was posted on September 4th, 2019 with proper notification. I did also talk to two of the guys that are part of RT management at the property on last week and explained what needed to be done, and they assured me that it would be done way before this hearing. Went out there several times between the latter part of last week and yesterday, and it still has not been remedied, and it's in the same condition. I'd like to submit the photos for the record. Somebody, can you see me with this? Yeah, I need to get back. I thought that was it. Okay, thank you. Yes, still help. Can you see those photos?
Not on the screen. I can see them here, but we need to pull them up. Here they are.
They coming up now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, this is a photo of one of the awnings.
Mm-hmm.
This is the front of the property where you can see clearly the driveway area did have paint there prior to this condition.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, just to clean it up a little bit and to paint that and whatnot.
Is that the same case number?
Here's a closer look at the steps. It was asked to patch, repair, and paint, but to date, nothing has been done. I think I have some additional photos, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's the posting of,
The notice for today's hearing.
well, that one right there. Mm-hmm.
All right, based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. Also find good notice, given proper notice, the owners have failed to appear. Hereby find in favor of the city enter an adjudication. Property owners have until November 13th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $350.
Thank you.
Last case.
The last case is SRP Sub LLC. Case number is CEZPU 2019-00044. The officer is Edme St. Louis.
Good afternoon, Code Officer St. Louis. This violation is in regards to the selling of vehicles in a residential area.
There's a lot of that going on this morning.
Mm-hmm. This is the initial pictures. A lot of cars parked on the property, and even some on the swell as well. Oh, can you see it, or you want me to rotate it?
No, I can see. They have to find a way to turn some of these television around so that both you guys and the property owners can see when we pull up the photos on the screen.
To see if we can work on that.
Yeah.
AOS was, oh, that's the wrong one. Okay, so the AOS was posted, I have the wrong AOS in here, but the AOS was posted in a guy by the name of Antonio signed for it.
Mm-hmm.
He said he was going to be present this morning, but clearly he's not here.
Okay.
And as of the final recheck, some of the cars, majority of them were gone, but some of them still remain.
Okay.
And other car debris.
All right. And this is the first time up, right?
Yes.
Okay. Double check. Based on the unrebutted testimony of the code enforcement officer and the evidence presented, I find that the violation does exist. Also find good notice, given proper notice, the owners have failed to appear. Hereby find in favor of the city, enter an adjudication. Property owners have until November 13th by which to resolve the violation. If the violation is not resolved by the abatement date, there will be a daily fine amount of $500. I need to.
The last case is O&M Development LLC, MHVIO 2019-00274, previously announced as a complied case.
Sir, are you part of this case? Yes. What is your name?
My name is Carlos Quialostre. I'm the property manager of the property.
Okay, so then I can release my interpreters because I know they have to come back at 1 o'clock, so they have an opportunity to go grab something to eat. Okay, thank you guys. I'll see you guys in half an hour. Go ahead, Mr. Dorville.
Good afternoon, John Dorville, City North Miami Code Compliance Office. This is about MHVIO 2019-00274. It's a reference to the property that's on 13800 Northeast 3rd Court. It's referencing, they have two buildings that had stucco issues in terms of the stucco being damaged on the property. I cited them for that. This was building 4 and 2. The property was posted on 9/5 at 10:30 a.m. Proper service being given, and here is a picture. This property has been very compliant in terms of moving forward. Let me just turn this around for you. This property has been very compliant with them being in contact with me and discussing the issue. They just haven't quite finished. They finished building number 4, but they have not finished number 2. So I'm asking for if we can postpone this another 30 days in order to give them an opportunity to complete the action.
Okay, so this, at first it was reported as being complied, right?
Yes, it's in the system, it's pending, so there's some error there, but nonetheless, they're moving forward the action. We just want to give them an opportunity to complete what they've got going on.
Okay, so we're not going to give them a new date today. We're just going to postpone it until further notice?
That's correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, sir. Bye. Okay, so we are adjourned until 1 o'clock. Oh, Lord.